weeks ago, the Cardinals left Cincinnati trailing Bob Boone's Reds by just 1 game. Tonight, Tony La Russa and the Redbirds lead by 1 game. Round 4 of the Central Division battle starts now on Fox Sports Net. One of the hottest hitters in the major leagues has been the Cardinals' Albert Pujols. This month alone, 20 RBIs and 50 on the season. He is in the lineup tonight as Cincinnati comes to town, and the Cardinals are 6-3 this year against the Reds. That's a live look at the concourse here at Busch Stadium. Big crowd filing in. First place on the line between these two teams. With Jim Hayes and Al Hrabosky, my name is Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Net. Now, the Cardinals, Al, as we talked about during the pregame show, have dropped 5 of their last 6, but here at home, very, very good overall this season, and no better way to start winning than right now.
Well, now I think the Cardinals, with everything they've gone through, they're very fortunate to be at home where they can be with their families, where they can have and feed off the adrenaline of their home fans. But I think the one thing that Cincinnati has not proven is they have not proven to themselves or the Cardinals that they can defeat the Redbirds this year. They've lost 6 of 9 to St. Louis, but this is a young club that's not supposed to be where they are, and they're gaining more and more confidence and think they can win if they can start beating the Cardinals.
Well, they had an 8-game losing streak. They followed that up with 3 straight wins coming into tonight's play. Let's take a look at tonight's pitchers. Chris Rietsma, who, as Al told you, has dropped 5 straight, 3 and 5 on the season, will make the start for Cincinnati. And one of the things he possesses is a great changeup.
Yeah, really good changeup, and there you see it right there. And even though he's lost 5 straight, he still has a good ERA of 3.55, not getting much run support.
Jason Simontacchi just has 1 blemish, and that was on Sunday night at Wrigley Field. The unenviable task of trying to make that start after the death of Darryl Kile.
You know, I told Jason, I said, you know, even though you're a young pitcher, but I think your inner strength, you were maybe the best guy suited to start that ball game. It didn't happen for him or his teammates, but I think he was tough enough mentally that he'll bounce back.
Last night was tough to swallow, wasn't it?
Well, it really was, and it's just because we've expected Isringhausen to be so automatic, 1 strike away from winning that ball game, but it's only a second blown save, and the club will have to regroup.
Well, Cincinnati, as Al told you, a very young team, but boy, did they have a great lineup led by a guy named Sean Casey. He's in the lineup. He'll bat 3rd tonight for Cincinnati. When we come back, we'll check in with Jim Hayes. More coming up on Cardinals baseball.
Busch Stadium, I'm Jim Hayes, and I'm scared because Steve Klein is about to mess with me, and he will. The Cardinals preparing to play the 4th game of their 13-game homestand. That's the longest homestand of the season for them. Pretty good time for the Cardinals to be home when you consider everything that they've been through in recent days. Catcher Mike Matheny is one of the Cardinals, very glad to be back at Busch.
At second base, well, I know, speaking for myself, I'd just as soon play every game here. I mean, this is where I enjoy being. It gives me a chance to be with my family, which you know, I treasure every day. And it also gives us a chance to play in front of our home crowd. And being here is where we want to play. And we realize that there's going to have long road trips, and we've seen to knock out a couple of those trips already. But anytime we have a chance to play at home, it's a bonus for us.
Mike Matheny and the Cardinals getting ready to take on the Reds tonight here at Busch Stadium. We'll have more from Busch Stadium. We'll have the ball game. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Sportsnet is brought to you by Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with the crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. By your local Chrysler and Jeep dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Cardinals on Fox Sports Net. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Center, St. Louis's #1 choice for tires and automotive service. By Pennzoil, protection under the toughest conditions. And by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. Beautiful night for baseball in downtown St. Louis. This is the longest homestand of the season for the St. Louis Cardinals, as we just heard from Mike Matheny talking about that. The Cardinals 24-13 here at Busch Stadium, but they have struggled against the Milwaukee Brewers. They just dropped 2 of 3 against Milwaukee. So for Bob Boone and the Reds, being away from home has been the right tonic for them, Al. They have played very, very well away from Synergy Field.
Yeah, they actually are 500 ball club at home, and yet 22-17 on the road. So Bob Boone's team, kind of a team charging back and forth. The 8-game losing streak. Then Griffey goes down. They start winning 3 in a row, and a very emotional lifting as they get a couple runs in the 9th inning yesterday, and then win an extra innings against the Cubs. How about the Cubs today? Got an 8-0 lead, and then lost to their crosstown rivals, the White Sox, 13-9.
In that game, Kerry Wood had an 8-0 lead, by the way.
Wow.
What a crowd here at Busch Stadium.
Well, these fans have been outstanding, and they've been tested just as the ball club. And as I said, these players really appreciate the adrenaline, and they've been feeding off the energy of the fans.
And here come the Cardinals playing tonight. The 4th game of a 13-game homestand here at Busch. Let's take a look at the Southwest Airlines Cincinnati Reds lineup led by Sean Casey. Going to be Walker leading things off. No stolen bases for Walker. Then Boone. Casey batting third. Dunn in his 2nd year. He's the cleanup man. Encarnacion is in right field tonight. Russell Branyan. First time we can see him wearing that Cincinnati uniform. He'll bat behind Encarnacion. Then Taylor, Miller, and Rietzma will bat 9th. Around the Horn is brought to you by Dobbs. A scary moment in last night's game. This line drive off the head of Fernando Vina, but he was okay. He'll be on the right side of the infield along with Tino, Polanco, and Renteria on the left side. Pujols, Edmonds, Morero in the outfield, and Mike Matheny is behind the plate. On the mound for St. Louis, our Chrysler Jeep starter for the Cardinals, Jason Simontacchi, 5-1 on the season, Al, and this will be his 3rd start against Cincinnati.
That's right. He's 1-0 against them, one with a no decision. He lost his last time out at Chicago and pitching the fewest innings of any start, only 4 innings. But he's been averaging 6 innings per start, and I think we're going to see him bounce back and carry his load.
Let's tell you about the hot new issue of Cardinals Game Day magazine with Jim Edmonds on the cover. Jim Dandy. Jim Edmonds goes deep on the cover and in a centerfold poster that you won't want to miss. Call now, area code 314-982-7336. 982-7336 for the Cardinals Game Day magazine. And watching Jim Edmonds here at Busch Stadium last night, Al, you could really see that the wrist was bothering him, and it's been bothering him for the last 10 days or so, more so than when he first came back.
Well, that's what happens with an injury like that. One bad swing, and it's usually a swing and a miss, creates an awkward positioning, but it's something he'll deal with for a while. Turned 32 years of age yesterday, and I thought it was significant when he did. First time he came to bat, remember, he didn't start the game,
right.
But went in for defense. First time he came to bat to protect that wrist, he dropped down a bunt. Ended up being an infield single.
Snapped an 0 for 10 drought for Jim Edmonds. Here's our 4th key matchup, the Cardinals and Reds this season. The Cardinals are 6-3. Last year they were 10-7 against the Reds. If you're wondering about the record here at Busch, Cardinals own a 3-1 mark against Cincinnati. The Reds, by the way, have one more series here in St. Louis. That'll be in early September. The Cardinals will make a final series visit to Cincinnati in late August, and you know those games could really mean something down the stretch in the final month of the regular season. So Simontacchi is set to go. Walker will dig in. It'll be Todd Walker, Aaron Boone, and Sean Casey, and we're glad to have you with us for Cardinals baseball and home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Net. First pitch is a strike. It's 7:13 here at Busch Stadium on a warm, muggy night in downtown St. Louis. 90 degrees here at Busch at 7:13. Walker has been swinging the bat much better after a terrible start. In early May, he was hitting .202, but the last 44 games hitting well above the 300 mark.
Yeah, 323 during that time. Has 4 career leadoff home runs, including 2 this season. And he's hit .360 in his last 36 at-bats.
He's got some pop as well. Simontacchi to Walker. Good breaking ball lifted into right. There's Eli Marrero, and that's the first out for Jason Simontacchi. Eli Marrero in right, by the way, tonight, Al. J.D. Drew out yet again with a sore knee. And in talking with Tony La Russa, as we get a look at pitching coach Dave Duncan, he said that injury to Drew may be a little bit more serious than expected. So hopefully we'll see him at some point during this weekend series against Cincinnati.
The tendonitis of the knee acts up, and his bat has not been very fluid either. Kind of hard. People want to see the stars play every day, but if they're banged up and not swinging well, you know, it's time to give somebody else a chance.
And the way that Marrero is filled in, whether it be left, right, center, behind the plate, first base, you feel pretty good with him out there.
Yes, you do. And I tell you what I feel pretty good about is wherever Eli is playing, but Simontacchi looks like he's keeping the ball down very well and pitching ahead in the count. I just think that last Sunday that was almost a situation where the only way the Cardinals were going to be in good shape is if they got an early lead and a big enough lead, and their emotions kind of carried over. How about Aaron Boone playing shortstop?
Yep, shortstop tonight. And I talked to Bob Boone before the game, the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, and he said, you know what, I feel real comfortable about putting my son out there. He's a very good fielder, and the drop off from Barry Larkin would not be as big as you might expect.
Well, you know, he started there yesterday. He had filled in a couple times during the course of a game
right
in the past, but yesterday was his first official start to Major League at shortstop, and here he is again tonight playing short. They got an awful lot invested in Barry Larkin for at least one more year.
$9 million a season.
Well, you know, $9 million just doesn't get you as much as you used to.
It really doesn't, Al, and that's a heck of a point you bring up. $9 million just doesn't go that far.
It's pocket change to some people.
It is. Larkin, you might remember, had a chance to go to the Mets, but he declined the trade. He had the right to do so, and signed a 3-year extension with Cincinnati. And really, that extension, good pitch there, does not get the call on the outside corner. That extension is going to put the Reds behind the 8 ball along with Griffey's contract.
That's right. And 92 miles an hour on the stadium gun, and looks like he just paints the corner out away from him, not getting the call. But Jason a little pumped up for this game and throwing a little bit harder than we've seen in the past.
92 is as hard as we've seen on the gun here at Busch, for sure. 1-0 in his career against Cincinnati. All those starts obviously this season with an ERA under 3.
You know, that gun, you can just put that in your hip pocket. The hitters will tell you how good your velocity is.
You've got it. Right back up the box on a full count pitch. Aaron Boone only hitting .214 with a 1-out base hit.
Not bad hitting there. An off-speed pitch from Simontacchi, and didn't try to do too much with it. Centered the ball and hit it right back up the middle.
Number 3 man in the order tonight is Sean Casey, one of our favorites.
Let's take a look at the base hit swing. Breaking ball, and stayed with it. Concentration, leveled the bat to the ball and right back through the box. Very important, with Tino holding on the runner at first with a left-hand swinger.
You know, when you looked at the schedule, you would figure by this time Cincinnati maybe 5-10 games out, but then you look at their lineup and you see why they have a chance to win every single night. This lineup is as good as any in baseball.
Well, everybody questioned their pitching, and I think what they forgot about is they have a very good pitching coach and they have a very deep bullpen. So they've gotten a lot of mileage out of their starters. The offense will take them deep enough. Now, the one thing that they have not been doing, or have been struggling at, is hitting with runners in scoring position.
That's been a problem all year long.
Yeah, and if they had been doing that, Cardinals would still be chasing.
1 ball, 1 strike. That's ripped foul. Casey's in the hole.
112 miles an hour. You know,
there's that gun that you can put in that hip pocket there.
Right.
That looked 112 too. Dave Duncan is shocked, writing that one down on the charts. He can't believe it. He's saying, really? Look at that gun. Well, I got to do it. It's off the charts.
Well, I think that is probably one of those guns they borrowed from a couple state troopers. You know, that when they were practicing charting trees, clocking trees going about 95.
So you're saying you've been pulled over time and again, and you're trying to get them on your good side.
I never break the law.
Of course you would now. But in your playing days, you were just a saint.
You got family members that can that know all the police officers around town.
1-2 on Sean Casey. How about a double play here? Ground ball, there it is. Vigna. Renteria, and there's your double play. And Simontacchi is out of the inning. Coming up for St. Louis, Vigna, Polanco, and Edmonds. One hit in the top of the first, but that was erased with a double play. Let's take a look at Tony La Russa's lineup without J.D. Drew tonight. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Vigna, Polanco, Edmonds, and Pujols. 3 home runs against the Reds this year. Tino, Renteria, Eli Marrero, Mike Matheny, and Jason Simontacchi. Here's our Chrysler Jeep starter. Chris Rietsma, the right-hander for Cincinnati, 3-5 with all those losses coming consecutively, Al.
Yeah, he got out to a 3-0 start. Then in his last 6 starts, he's 0-5. That ties the longest losing streak of his career. He's lost 3 consecutive starts for the 3rd time. He's never lost 4 consecutive. And you just have to see, but he seems like he's pitched pretty well, but just not given a lot of run support, adding up to losses.
Here's Fernando Vigna. Looks at a breaking ball, and again, when you know Rietsma is going well, is when he has that changeup working. It's one of the better parts of his repertoire, if not the best part. Fernando was hit on the noggin last night. Drives this one into left center field. On the run is Taylor near the track, and he has it. Let's take a look at the Reds defense tonight. Minus Griffey and minus Larkin. Casey and Walker on the right side of the infield. Russell Branyan came over in a trade from Cleveland. He's a 3rd baseman tonight. Aaron Boone is at short. Just his 2nd major league start at short. Adam Dunn in left. Reggie Taylor is in center. Juan Encarnacion is the right fielder. Very good arm. And Corky Miller is behind the plate. And Rietsma obviously on the mound. Here's Placido Polanco. 3 hits last night. And Placido is starting to hit much better at 268 on the year.
And Polanco's hit in 14 of his last 16 games, going 20 for 62 and a 323 average. We're accustomed to seeing him at 300 mark, and he'll eventually get there.
Little chopper towards short. Aaron Boone, his first opportunity. In the dirt. Little help from Sean Casey. Nice pick there at first. 2 away.
Kind of laid back on that ball a little bit. Since they have replaced the infield grass, we've seen a lot of bad hops. Lays back. This is poor seam grip, but threw it right into the dirt. But Casey able to scoop it at the other end.
Here's Jim Edmonds. His average has dipped to 316 with that sore wrist. He's only hit 231 this year against Cincinnati. And as Al told you last night, to snap an 0 for 10 streak, he bunted his way on.
I think it was more of an indication of protecting the wrist, but got the.
There's a drive into center field. Taylor back at the track. That's off the wall. And Edmonds will have a 2-out double. Wrist looked pretty good there.
You know, Jim is, since coming back, has really not hit with a lot of luck, and numerous drives have been caught at the wall. This one gets over the head. That ball down in middle half in, and it gives it a good ride. But over the head of Taylor, one hops the wall, gets it back in quickly, but not before the double by Jim Edmonds. You need to start scoring some runs, take a little pressure off this pitching staff.
To me, that's been the key in the losses of 5 of 6. The pitching has been decent, not great, but it's been good enough to win, but the hitting just has not been there at all.
Mitch Page talking to Vigna. Going over a little bit.
We talked about Pujols and the job that he has done against Cincinnati this year. He's hit over 300 against the Reds. He owns 3 home runs. And he is tied for 5th, by the way, in the National League. 20 RBIs in 21 games played this month. Look at that.
See where he is. Sean Green with 23 leading the pack. But, you know, with first base open, 2 outs, way too early to be pitching around somebody or potential pass him. But with the benefit of Tino hitting behind him, who's hit in all 9 straight against Cincinnati. They're reluctant to bring Tino up to bat with a couple men on.
2 outs here in the bottom of the first. No score between the Cards and Reds. Redbirds start the day. A game up on Cincinnati. Fastball misses outside. It's 2-0. By the way, the umpires for tonight's game: Charlie Rutherford is behind the plate, Dana DeMuth at first, Kerwin Danley at second, and Marvin Hudson is the third base umpire. Albert struggles with runners in scoring position in just 2 outs, hitting only 185. 3-0. Reitsma was obtained in the deal for Dante Bichette in August of 2000. Last year was his first year in the majors.
Came up from Double-A ball, 15-game loser last year, but big strong kid from Canada, and I think he learned a lot.
And a walk to Pujols on 4 straight. Let's see what Tino can do. He had 15 losses, Al. Reitsma did, but he was 12-15 on the season, close to 200 innings pitched. He had 182 on the year, so that was a career high for him.
And of course, Tino Martinez, as I mentioned, has hit in all 9 games against Cincinnati, so even though he hasn't seen a lot of these pitchers, he's liked them, and this would be an opportune time to get his first hit of the night.
2 on, 2 outs here in the first. And Tino, swing and a miss.
Breaking ball, changeup. It's like a sinker. Probably throws a 4-seam fastball also. But his best pitch appears to be the changeup.
Tino was 1 for 7 in the series against Milwaukee and 0 for his last 6. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals enjoying their longest stretch here at home.
Poole's getting a great lead.
And it doesn't matter. That's popped up into shallow right. Coming on Encarnacion, and he'll have it for the 3rd and final out. Reitsma will strand a couple, and we played 1. A double by Edmonds, but none doing for St. Louis. Top of the 2nd, individual party room tickets are available for games on July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd against the Padres, and the 4th, 5th, and 7th against the Dodgers. You would love it. For only $50, you'll receive your game ticket, unlimited beer, soda, hot dogs, bratwurst, and nachos. 425-0600 for only $50. 425-0600 to purchase your tickets. And by the way, you think about that weekend series against the Dodgers over the 4th of July. Great seats still remaining. And the ball club wants to make sure that fans know that there are some tremendous values out there, because if you look at this point in the season, Al, this is our longest homestand. Then we come off the All-Star break into a long road trip. We come home for just a brief period. It's against Chicago, so you know.
2 games.
Yeah. You know, those games will be sold out coming up, and then we're back on the road. So this is the time, if you're going to head down to the ballpark, maybe the best time in the season.
Yeah, a lot of activities down on the riverfront, and always the fair on the 4th of July weekend. Great seats available, and don't forget those Friday night specials.
2 balls and a strike on Adam Dunn, the cleanup man for Cincinnati. Dunn, Encarnacion, and then Russell Branyan. Here's a 2-1. Adam Dunn has enjoyed a very good sophomore season. Last 3 games, by the way, a home run, hitting over 500. Last year, if you combined everything that he did in the minor leagues, then he came up, had a great month of August for Cincinnati. He had over 50 home runs. And gets underneath this one. He just missed it. Deep right field. Plenty of room as Edmonds puts it away. Round number 1 here in the top of the 2nd. Tonight, the Best Damn Sports Show, period. All-Star Summer continues with Tom Arnold's bachelor party. Join some of the biggest names in Hollywood as they give Tom a proper send-off into the sanctity of marriage. Yet again, it's a night of stars and comedy like you've never seen before.
About Big Tom's bachelor party tonight.
We've been promoting it, so you know I can't wait, Al.
I couldn't believe DeMarco Farr was scared of snakes last night.
I didn't see that part. I just saw John Elway's charity golf tournament.
Give you a little tip. It's a very, very good chance that DeMarco may be playing football again next year.
That's what I understand.
Tennessee Titans, if everything goes well. Hey, you want to talk about something else? Another celebration? How about congratulations to Dan and Margot Good on the birth of their daughter, the first of their family, Elizabeth. She'll be called Betsy, but she was born yesterday morning on the 27th. 7 pounds 3 ounces, 21 inches. Everyone's doing well. Of course, Margot is the director of broadcasting and technology here for the Cardinals. So congratulations to Dan and Margot Good on the birth of their little daughter, Elizabeth Betsy Good.
2-2 on Encarnacion. That's great news.
I saw Margot twice in the last couple days, and the difference between last week and this week, I said, there's no way you're holding out for another week. And I told her it was going to be a little girl, and she goes, no, everybody says a boy. I said, nope. I'm me and Fredbird, me and the stork. I got connections.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just kind of seeing the way you're smiling, Danny, and I could rub your hands together or something like this, and I could tell you what your first child will be.
Is that right?
Yeah, it'll be a crying baby.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah, but your future father-in-law is really upset. There you go.
Why do you lump me into this? Just read that Margot had a beautiful baby girl.
Yeah.
And don't lump me in. No, I pass along my congratulations.
We're just
as well.
trying to get you.
I'm telling you, Albert, I've had enough.
Oh, this is all for you, Dan.
You've officially sent me over the deep end.
Why you chill? You got goosebumps and nervous, sweating.
That's because we're wearing a coat and tie and it's 90.
Oh.
Hey, there is a ball game, Al. And that's a shot up the middle by Juan Encarnacion. You love saying his name, don't you?
I can say it now.
Did you struggle when he was with Detroit?
One time. But nothing like the first time I tried to say Martina Navratilova. It took me 3 minutes. Now the pitch down and kind of thigh high a little bit over the middle of the plate. Need to throw it either in or out, preferably outside.
Here's Russell Brandon, came over in a trade with the Cleveland Indians. Brandon was part of that big 10th inning off of Kyle Farnsworth of Chicago that lifted the Reds to a 5-4 win over Chicago at Wrigley Field. Cincinnati, by the way, has won 3 straight after dropping 8 straight going into that series with the Cubs.
Russell had been 0 for 13 with runners in score position before he got that game-winning hit yesterday. The Reds are batting .249 as a team.
The biggest trade and the biggest news in baseball, Bartolo Colon yesterday to Montreal. Now that's the last team that I would expect would get into that.
But yet, you know, there was an awful lot of rumors that they were going to be a player. Of course, Cincinnati, we had heard they were rumored as trying to make a deal with the Indians for Colon. Cardinals would have to have some interest in a very, very good pitcher. And it's kind of interesting that after a long run, Cleveland Indians, very close play at first base, that they get new ownership and then all of a sudden they're trying to dump payroll.
You would figure, and they have said that they are trying to build towards 90, or rather 04. So Jim Thome is a guy that could be on his way out. Omar Vizquel, another one, longtime shortstop, great player, great defensive player. Thome, by the way, can refuse a trade. It's in his contract. Ellis Burke's another guy. At the top of my head, I think Paul Shuey is another guy that's in their bullpen that they could try to get rid of. That makes a couple of million a season. And in picking up Bartolo Colon, the Expos gave up one of the top prospects, not just in their system. He was in their system, but really in all of baseball. One of the great shortstops in the minor leagues. So if that's the case, you figure Vizquel's on his way out. And the Cincinnati Reds, to get Branyan, gave up one of their top prospects a few years ago, a first baseman, and Cleveland feels that they can turn him around and make him a very, very good player at the major league level.
Well, we're seeing a lot of Cincinnati's, you know, I mean, there's a lot of Cleveland's sluggers that have been dealt elsewhere and given that opportunity to play every day and really blossom. Casey was one too.
Ripped over the glove of Tino Martinez on a broken bat. Encarnacion will move to third. Strong throw by Marrero, just a little bit up the line, and it's first and third, just one out here in the second. Good throw though by Eli. Strong, just a little off the mark.
I think Tino Martinez might have gotten deked a little bit and off his glove. Of course, he has played a very solid first base. He and Travis Lee had the best fielding percentage in the National League by first basemen. And there you see the runner kind of had to hold his ground a little bit. He would have been doubled off if Tino catches that line drive, but he has that good speed. Encarnacion has an awful lot of talent.
He really does.
Really, every facet of the game he has rated above average.
Here's Reggie Taylor, and you have to watch out for him as far as speed is concerned, and a squeeze play and putting the ball in play with a bunt. Not much power at all, but he did have a grand slam earlier this year at Synergy Field against St. Louis. That was part of that 8-0 game that the Cardinals came back and won.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure that wasn't Travis Smith's game.
It was.
And that was the only negative, and Travis has been added, taking the spot of Gerald Kyle on the roster, and he'll make the start tomorrow. That was the only thing that Tony was a bit concerned about, is Travis had pitched extremely well down in Memphis since his demotion, but really didn't want to have him start against Cincinnati, but it was out of necessity.
Complete game his last time out for the Memphis Redbirds for Travis Smith. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Instead, a check at third and then first. If you're wondering about Jimmy Jurnell, who's just promoted to AAA, probably you could make a case that he is the top prospect for St. Louis.
He was the minor league pitcher of the year last year,
and he was roughed up yesterday.
Well, it wasn't so bad, and I talked to Galen Pitch today. He pitched 6 innings. The biggest thing, he gave up 3 runs, but the biggest thing was he walked 5. Galen said after the first couple innings, he looked over his pitching coach Dyer Miller and said, man, this is some of the best stuff we've seen. He could throw a no-hitter, but as the game progressed, he started missing with his fastball, but he said there's no doubt that his fastball is electric and explodes up there.
That's what Tony La Russa told me, that it was just a matter of hitting spots for him to get to this level. Said the stuff is there already. A little rough around the edges. How about a double play? Vina, what a play on a short hop. They get it. 2 double plays in 2 innings started by Vina, the Gold Glover. No score.
Cardinals baseball as we head to the bottom of the second. I'm joined by Reverend Earl Nance Jr. of Cool Down St. Louis, an organization dedicated to helping people protect themselves against the heat, people that otherwise couldn't do it.
Absolutely right. We're raising money tonight, thanks to the Cardinals, to help the elderly and disabled with the cooling bills and provide air conditioners for them this summer. And also, we'll be passing out cards from our local churches to remind people to check on the elderly.
How big a problem is it? How many people really can't help themselves in the summer heat?
there are elderly who don't have the money to pay for their cooling bills. They have to make a decision between paying for medicine and their bills. So we try to give them that relief.
All right, Reverend, good job on a good cause. Dan, let's go back upstairs to you.
Okay, Jim, thank you very much. The Reverend was part of the pregame ceremonies here at Busch Stadium. And a good job finding him in the stands, enjoying a night of baseball here at Busch. 0-2 the count quickly on Renteria.
Dan, the Reverend Nance, a big baseball fan, and that program last year, I think Darryl Kyle was instrumental in helping raise $300,000 for that program of Cool Down St. Louis.
Just reminded me of that. This Dayton baseball history is brought to you by Schnucks. Back in 1976, Tiger rookie Mark Fidrich hits the Yankees in front of a national television audience. The bird, Mark Fidrich.
I got to know Mark quite well. Matter of fact, he bought 2 white rhinos for me.
Here you go again. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, you know.
Let's hear it.
I had 2 white rhinos on my farm down in Atlanta. They took away my 50 howitzer cannon, said I couldn't shoot those anymore, so I got rhinos, and we used to ride them bareback. I got my Kentucky windage messed up one night and shot a round into my neighbor's flower bed, so off with the cannons, on with the rhinos.
Whatever you took tonight, please pass it over. 1-2 the count on Eli Marrero. What are you laughing at?
I'm serious. I'm laughing at Fidrich.
Eli pulls it towards third. Nice play by Branyan. Settles, throws. 2 down.
Should I say he wanted to buy him, but he had to pay for him.
It's a good play by Russell Branyan.
Yeah, Eli, big swing, so he didn't get out of the box as quickly as he normally can, and Branyan able to get that ball, throw over the top, and get a speedy runner. Makes a little difference with slumping Barry Larkin. Of course, Larkin came out of the game the other day with a shoulder and neck problem, and a few years ago he had some neck surgery for a disc problem, so they don't know how extensive that is, and that's one of the reasons why we're seeing Boone play shortstop.
Here is Mike Matheny. Of course, Griffey is out with a hamstring. He will not be back until after the All-Star break. As you mentioned, the shoulder and neck problems basically had spasms the other day for Barry Larkin, so now Boone is at short. And if you go back to when he was acquired in 2000, King Griffey Jr., he has missed an awful lot of baseball. Over 100 games. Last year it was over 70. 127 starts that he has missed.
I think it's safe to say his hometown, there you see Barry Larkin, we're talking about Griffey, but the hometown fans really have not seen their superstar at his best. He's been either injured or hobbled ever since he's been there.
The 2-1, and Matheny fooled on a changeup. Good pitch there by Rietsma. They move into that brand new ballpark, the Great American Ballpark, next season, and down that right field line, a short porch. And you think about Sean Casey and Griffey and Adam Dunn, they can have some fun with that.
Yeah, and I think speaking of that ballpark, Sean Casey's going to be the host of This Week in Baseball tomorrow, and the segments have been taped at the new ballpark, so it might be interesting to see a new look to the ballpark and on the riverfront that will be opening up next year. And of course, on Sunday, that's the 30th anniversary. Is it 30th or
30th?
30th anniversary.
Up the middle, base hit for Mike Matheny with 2 outs here in the second.
I think it's the 32nd anniversary of the 32nd anniversary of the first game played at Riverfront Stadium or Synergy Field, June 30th, 1970.
Next Friday, the Cardinals will return to the field here on Fox Sports Net and take on Sean Green, who has been red hot, and the LA Dodgers. Coverage begins at 6:30, only here on the home of the Cardinals, Fox Sports Net. Simontacchi has proven to be a tough out at the plate. He'll step in with Matheny at first and 2 outs here in the second. the designer of that ballpark, Al, I was talking with some of their broadcasters, has mentioned that in left field and in left center, he said it's going to be one of the hardest ballparks to hit a home run in, not because of the dimensions, but because they have found out that the wind, the way that it is set up, within the last week or two, they have figured this out. And he's the man that designed Comerica as well, so he's on site with this. And they said that the wind's coming in from left field towards shortstop and towards second base will prevent a lot of right-handed hitters from hitting home runs.
But I think they've built that ballpark in thoughts of Junior.
Yep. No doubt about that. Taylor back in center, and Simontacchi is 0 for 1. The Cardinals strand a man. They have left 3 on the night. We play 2, and there's no score from Bush. Days, nurses for newborns. We want to tell you about that. NFN is what they call it, provides a safety net for families most at risk to help prevent infant mortality, child abuse, and neglect through in-home nursing visits, and you can help out. It's through Cardinals Care. It's 421-3060 or stlcardinals.com. You click on community and find out all about diaper days here at the ballpark, and seems like everything we talk about involves a little bit with Darryl Kile, but Flynn Kyle was on the air with us a week and a half ago.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. I was thinking the same thing, and you know, you had her on, and
she was kind of spearheading diaper days.
Right, and I was talking to her right in the back right after she went on, and I said, how'd it go? And she was so bubbly, just like she always is, but she said, man, that was fun. I could do that every day. You guys get paid for this? And I said, no, just Danny.
We can't shut her up, though.
But she was having so much fun with that, and boy, our hearts and prayers go out to that family. And, oh, I was, you know, the emotional roller coaster we've gone on the last 10 days, and then to see Cannon on Wednesday throw out the first pitch and see him interact with all the players in the dugout and down the bullpen. Huh. And tears started rolling again.
I was kidding her after she was on the air. I said, we can't shut you up. And she said the exact same thing. I can't believe you get paid to do this. And I said, well, neither do I, but that's beside the point. She's a very, very nice lady. On 0-2, Corky Miller chops it towards short. 1 out, and that's how we start the top of the third, score this ball game. It'll be Miller just erased, and then the pitcher Rietzman, then back to the top of the order, and Todd Walker.
Cardinals have their annual barbecue coming up this Sunday, so St. Louis pinch hitters, after the game on Sunday, they'll have the barbecue out behind the center field and enjoy all the entertainment out there, cocktail hours, baseball bingo, silent auction, music. Todd is the DJ. You know Todd.
Yeah.
Great music by the fabulous Motown Review.
You come down to the ballpark, you can't help but know Todd. He's the guy screaming during the stoppages in play on the Jumbotron here at Busch Stadium. That's our gift to all the folks that come to the barbecue. Simontacchi has used a couple of double plays to get out of the first 2 innings. And the last one was a heck of a play by Fernando Vinian. Look at this, no runners on, and on 1 and 2 there's Mike Matheny making sure that ball doesn't go anywhere.
Well, if you think about it, it's that anticipation. He does that even in warm-up, but on 2 strikes, if all of a sudden Rietzman swings at that and you were very lazy, all of a sudden Matheny does have somebody on base.
Right.
You know, with a swing and strikeout. Remember that on Wednesday night. Cardinals got their scoring opportunity started with a strikeout of Tino Martinez. Pass ball, and he races down to first base, and that happened later on in the game also. So it's the old story. You know, practice hard, it'll take over and carry over in the game.
Where's that pitch? Full count.
Charlie Rutherford has had a strike zone that looks like it misses the bottom part of the plate. Thought both pitchers have thrown pitches in the middle of the plate that look like strikes that he called low.
Off the glove of Simontacchi, slows it up to Vina. Plenty of time, 2 away. 1-4-3 on the putout.
Vina's made a few more errors than what he would like, but day in and day out, I'll take his effort anytime.
Talk about the fundamentals with Mike Matheny. How about Fernando Vina? You always see the button on top of his cap as he looks the ball into the glove, and he was doing that with, and I'm happy to say this, George Kissel, who was with the club here on this homestand. Been in this organization for over 50 years, and Mr. Kissel is with us during the homestand, so that's good to see.
Yeah, and also as a tribute to George, who has finally announced his retirement after 60 years in baseball with the Cardinals. But as a gift, Fernando had Rawlings make another Gold Glove for him to present to George Kissel. Speaking of Rawlings, they were kind enough, thanks to
nice segue, Al.
They're good people. They sent me Travis Greasley, the manager of advertising and public relations. Got a nice gift today with 3 different commemorative baseballs for the All-Star game. One was for the Futures game, one was for batting for the Home Run Derby, and then the All-Star game ball itself. And really appreciate that from Travis and our good friends from Rawlings. And I think over the course of the year, I can't remember how many different commemorative baseballs they've made, but they had an opening day ball, they've got a 4th of July ball, they have a Memorial Day ball, like I said, the 3 from the All-Star game, postseason ball, but a lot of different marketing venues that they're using to this kind of year to make a lot of good Cardinal fans, or baseball fans in general, have some great keepsakes.
Walker was tied up on this fastball from Simontacchi. This is the hardest I think we've seen him throw yet in the major leagues. 2-2 pitch, ground ball to Tino. Flip to Simontacchi in a very good inning. A 1-2-3, top of the 3rd. In the bottom half, it's the top of the order coming up for the St. Louis Cardinals here on Fox Sports Net. Ball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Auto Tire. For the very best in tires and service, you want to go to Auto Tire. By Aflac, ask about it at work. And by Advance Auto Parts, the best part is our people. Beautiful night here in downtown St. Louis. Game time temperature at 7:13 was 90 degrees. It's cooled off just a bit. Big crowd on hand. First place on the line this weekend between the Redbirds and Reds. Cardinals start tonight just a game up on Cincinnati. Redbirds have 2 hits on the night. Vina trying to bunt his way on and bunts it foul. Vina, Polanco, and Edmonds here in the Cardinals half of the 3rd. No score. Fernando hitting the ball in the air the last couple of nights and started tonight with a fly ball to center.
And that's what I thought about when we saw that shot of Mitchell Page talking with Fernando Vina, talking about, hey, you're getting underneath a lot of balls, you know, start back and line drives, do that.
3rd hit on the night for St. Louis, and Vina is 1 for 2, a leadoff base hit. Cardinal fans, Wednesday, July 3rd, that's coming up. The Cardinals play the Padres. It's Coca-Cola Target bobblehead doll night here at Busch. The first 30,000 fans with a paid admission receive a collector's edition bobblehead doll of Fernando Vina, commemorating his 2001 Gold Glove season. Wednesday, July 3rd, Cards tango with the Padres. Fernando Vina bobblehead doll night. 421-2400 or STLCardinals.com for ticket information.
You kidding me? That's one of those nights where there's so many good seats available, and it's also a bobblehead night.
That is correct.
Unbelievable. And our good buddy Fernando too, huh?
Boy, let's hope somebody is okay, and it doesn't look to be the case, as fans have become very quiet behind that dugout of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, they're trying to get some medical attention right away. That ball ricocheted off of someone and, you know, went streaming back into the field, and There's people there attending to that gentleman, it looks like, and
no balls and a strike on Polanco. Will continue to check on that fan behind the Cardinals dugout. That's popped up. What a play by the catcher, Corky Miller. A diving play for out number 1. Well, that's a great play by the Cincinnati catcher, Corky Miller.
yeah, but you're either going to sacrifice, but bunting for a base hit, and then you pop it up. Ravina showed bunt. And there, it's a terrific play by the catcher, but you really just take the bat out of the hands of a guy that's been swinging the bat pretty well. And something that Polanco doesn't do that frequent.
Here's Jim Edmonds. He doubled off the wall in center field. Back in the first, he's 1 for 1, average at .320 on the year. Vando Vina, 11 stolen bases. He's at first with 1 out. Change up low and in to Edmonds. League leader in the batting mark is Barry Bonds of San Francisco, hitting .350, then Helton at .342. Edmonds, though, is still in the top 10 at .320.
Throw a change up down and in. You gotta be careful about that.
Yeah. He can lose it in a hurry.
And Jim, one of the best guys on the team of picking up all pitch selection by how you grip the ball, or if you do anything different in your windup.
The only way that happens, Al, is when you're at the plate, but also by simply paying attention in the dugout. Ground ball hit to second. Walker will get the lead man. That'll be it. Good play to his left with Boone covering second. Now there's 2 outs. Edmonds is at first, and that'll bring in Albert Pujols. Little hesitation by the second baseman, Todd Walker, but they still get Vina at second.
Some kind of a little casual right there, trying to time it, and then he's off balance with his footwork. Kind of got a little spread out and flat-footed when he made that throw.
Then you think about watching Walker do that. You think about what Vina did on that second double play that he started. I mean, that was outstanding on a short hop and a tough play to turn to, and he did it. Albert fooled by the changeup.
A good one right there. Want to have the same arm action on as your fastball. Choke it off, or throw the circle change where you throw it just like you're thinking mindset fastball, but it's back so far in your grip that it just oozes out.
Now, we were talking before about Bartolo Colon. I was talking with Walt Jocketty before the game. Cardinals, of course, especially with the tragic death of Darryl Kile, had quite an interest in Colon, but they had nothing to match the prospect that Montreal gave up, that shortstop that we were talking about before. And he said they were getting things going about a month ago. That's right down the middle. Pujols didn't like it, but within the last week, he said there was no way that was going to happen.
Yeah, and I think the fans have to remember, and it's not good for talk show radio, but Walt Jocketty and his lieutenants are out scouring not only the major leagues but minor leagues for talent and trade possibilities all the time. It's just, you just don't hear about them, and most of the rumors you hear are kind of started by talk radio or media members or something of that nature, but the ones that usually come about are the ones that you hear very infrequent.
And now you wonder with that trade if some more are going to start to follow, even with the labor agreement not settled.
Well, I think the one thing is that even though Colon is owed some money, in today's economics, his salary was very, very palatable. That wasn't something that was so cost prohibitive. and he's still a relatively young pitcher, even though he's birth certificate aged a couple years this spring.
Change up, and that's up and into Albert Pujols, and now it's a full count. Edmonds will be off with the pitch. He's at first base.
A young man is walking on his own power up the steps to get some more medical attention, so that's a very good sign.
Omar Minaya, by the way, is the general manager of Montreal, and he said it actually is just an exchange in salaries, so they're not taking on. Albert, a drive into deep center field. Taylor can't get there. Off the wall. Edmonds is going to score. And Pujols has RBI number 51 on the year. And it's 1-0 St. Louis.
Now remember, you got 2 outs. And Albert Pujols, who is your big threat right here. But Jim Edmonds got a good lead. It looked like the off-speed pitch, maybe that changeup that's up out over the plate, and he drove it right where he needed to for our Nextel direct hit over the head of the center fielder. But it was the walking lead by Edmonds that allowed him to score all the way from first base without a play.
Here's Tino Martinez, and that's fouled into the seats for strike 1.
So you're playing behind him, so he gets that extra lead and off to the races and comes around without a play.
So Edmonds scoring the first run of tonight's ball game. Pujols with RBI number 51 tops on the club. Time is called by Tino Martinez, even though Rietsma finished up.
Yeah, well, look at the umpire sitting there. Oh, don't do that. Well, he's never been on the mound when somebody calls timeout so late in your windup. Rietsma does exactly what he should do. Now look at, he's got his head turned to second base, so his momentum starts going forward. And if, as a pitcher, you try and stop at that point, that's when you recoil and that's when you hurt your arm. So go ahead and throw it.
0-2 quickly on Tino Martinez. Tino left 2 on, back in the first. Jim Hayes, by the way, reports that a fan that was hit on the head seems to be okay. That's great news. He's down in the stands in the third part of our broadcast crew here tonight.
We got a very important message from the master.
That's Buddy Bates, the equipment man of the St. Louis Cardinals.
When he brings something to our attention, we get instant attention to it.
He wants to express his gratitude to Marcia Meyer and the entire staff at Levy Athletic Lettering Company as Tino drives this into right field. Encarnacion has it and makes the play. Very good play on the track. We'll tell you what they did involving Mr. Buck and Darryl Kile when we come back. Cardinals grab the early lead on Pujols' RBI. Dealer and check out the great deals on the built Ford Tough F-Series trucks. Now up to $2,500 cash back or 0.9% APR financing and a no-cost bedliner on F-Series. Ford, the official car and truck of the St. Louis Cardinals. We mentioned that Buddy Bates stopped by, the fine equipment man of the St. Louis Cardinals, and that's what we're talking about right there. The patches. Levy Athletic Lettering Company did not charge the Cardinals 1 cent for those. Marcia Meyer and the entire staff at Levy. They're located in Chesterfield. Endless hours of hard work and assistance to the Cardinals during last week. A tumultuous week for the organization. And they put in countless hours in designing and sewing the patches for both Jack Buck and Darryl Kile. So Buddy Bates and the entire Cardinals family wants to thank Levy Athletic Lettering Company and in particular Marcia Meyer. Done a great thing. Ground ball hit sharply to Placido Polanco, and Aaron Boone is 1 for 2 tonight. The Cardinals lead it, by the way, by the score of 1-0 here in the fourth.
Doing favor to a young pitcher, keeping his pitch count down by going up there, swinging at the first pitch.
Here's Sean Casey hit into a double play to end the first inning. Strike by Simontacchi, 5-1 on the year, and you don't find that he gets himself in much trouble, Al. Everything's on the black, and he has to be that way. He has to hit his spots, and he has done that. You never see a ball, hardly ever, down the middle.
Well, and that's why he's taken advantage of this opportunity. Been released 3 different times.
Here's a rope on a pitch. Little in to Sean Casey, and he's 1 for 2 tonight.
Middle half in, and especially to a left-handed batter, if you're going to go in, you got to go all the way in. And let's see where the glove is of Matheny. It's just a ball down and in, right in the middle half of the plate, and that ball is usually going to be hit hard by a left-handed swinger.
I was talking with Jason the other day, Al, and at one point he said, after the Royals and Pirates and Twins had all let him go, the Chico Heat sold his contract to the Italian League for $500.
Oh, I mean, the Chico Heat's notorious for doing that, getting too much for their talent. But you know, I mean, that was one of those case in points. But he went over there, found out a 3rd generation Italian, so he could pitch like on Saturday, you know, instead of being like a normal import that could only pitch on Friday nights. And what was he, 12-1?
Yeah.
Then went to the Summer Olympics in Australia for the Olympic team.
There's Renteria, Cardinals shortstop, on the second base side. Along with Vigna, as they play Adam Dunn to pull. Dunn with 15 home runs on the year.
I often see this with a second-year player.
There's a shot, but that's pulled foul. And into the seats, 1-2 on Dunn. Adam, his first time up, flied out to right. Adam Dunn, tremendous power, and that's why the Cardinals play him to pull. Now on the left side, plenty of room in that left center field gap. Dunn pops it up. Shallow right field. Edmonds calls off Renteria along with Vigna, and there's 2 outs.
I could really see how that developed as all 4, second base, shortstop, right fielder, and center fielder, all converge, and then they all scatter as they can hear, and you could obviously see Edmonds calling for the ball. You do that, and there's no way you're going to have a collision. But they all converge on it, and so one of those outfielders coming in takes charge, and now you can see they scattered, get out of the way, and that's just good communication and good effort by everyone involved.
And Simontacchi was in the Italian League, Al. He was making $1,800 a month. They did supply an apartment for him.
And a cell phone.
And a cell phone. There was winters in which he was driving a tow truck. He also drove a cab. Still lives with his parents.
And intends to do that again this off season.
Right.
Why not?
1-0 pitch is pulled foul.
That's a great story. And
it really is.
You know, Travis Smith tomorrow is 29 years of age. Simontacchi is 28. These guys have paid their dues.
Austin Kearns came up with Cincinnati and busted on the scene, but then the book was out on him. Can the same be said for a pitcher? Do you eventually see a book get out on a pitcher, and where the hitter knows what's coming and can really decide what happens?
Oh, absolutely. And if you hang a ball, doesn't matter. You're going to give up a long ball.
Encarnacion, the home run, is 15th. RBIs 42 and 43, and Cincinnati has the lead. It's 2-1. That ball was smoked, and he knew it was gone right off the end of the bat.
Well, we said a little while ago that this guy has an awful lot of talent. He's throwing arm, he's got running speed, he's got can hit for average, and he can hit for power, particularly if he gets a hanging breaking ball. And he has to muscle it all the way, but Jimmy knew that that ball was out of here, just sort of a courtesy glance. And it's going to be a situation where the Cardinals are going to have to come from behind.
Here's Russell Branyan. 2 outs now, nobody on. 5 hits for Cincinnati.
See, 7th home run allowed by Jason in about 52 innings.
Mentioned that Simontacchi has made 2 starts prior to this one tonight against Cincinnati. The first one a no decision, but the Cardinals won 4-2. He lasted 5 innings in that game. Next start at Cincinnati, an 8-5 win. Pitched into the 7th. Just missed. Low and in, a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, Danny, you know, with this wacky schedule, it's been tough on a lot of pitchers because teams are seeing pitchers and turnaround starts. Or here, this is Simontacchi's 3rd start against Cincinnati out of 9.
First strikeout on the night. He gives up the home run. 424-foot shot from Encarnacion. Trivia question tonight presented by Affleck. Who was the first Cardinal pitcher to record 200 or more strikeouts in a single season? You might think it'd be retired number 45 Bob Gibson, but not the case.
And the question was, the first Cardinal to record 200 strikeouts?
200 or more.
Oh, it wouldn't be Bob. Have to be prior to that.
Renteria rips it towards 3rd. Good play by Branyan. 1 away. Good play to his left. And Edgar's 0 for 2. Simontacchi was not happy after giving up that home run. His reaction to coming off the mound, the top half of this inning.
Nothing wrong with that. Just shows somebody cares. But you know, the point I was going to say is with this wacky schedule, here he's making his 9th start, but his 3rd against 1 ball club. And you know, even a Matt Morris, as good as Matt Morris, you know, he was talking the other day about, well, you know, I got back-to-back starts against Kansas City. It worked real well, but that usually is not the case. Teams will make adjustments.
And that was the same case with Simontacchi. He had back-to-back starts against the Royals too. First one he had to leave. He had a little blister developing on his pitching hand, and he took a no decision in a 3-2 loss as Eli grounds out to short. 2 outs. Then he won 5-3 here at Busch Stadium. Back to the trivia question. Who was the first Cardinal pitcher to record 200 or more strikeouts in a single season? Sam Jones, 1958. Did you know that?
No, I did not. You know, I would have thought maybe Dizzy Dean.
Dizzy Dean was my guess.
Boy, not 200 before 1958. That is surprising. Then you think about Nolan Ryan and 350, you know, stuff like that. Randy Johnson last couple of years over Schilling over 300.
We were told in 1933 Dizzy Dean had 1 shy of 200.
199. 99.
Yeah. Matheny has a base hit tonight. 2 outs and nobody on. Working hard tonight on our graphics is Doug Stanton under the tutelage of Bill Grayson. A ball and a strike on the Cardinal catcher. Right down the middle. Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson both have 12 wins apiece. That's tops in the National League. Then Ishii has 11 for the Dodgers. Glavine has really had a great year in his free agent season to be. He's had 11 wins already. Padilla of Philadelphia with 10, and then Morris has 10. Hit sharply to second, but a 1-2-3 bottom of the 4th as the Cardinals go down, and we'll move to the 5th. It'll be Reggie Taylor, Corky Miller, and the pitcher Rietsma. 2-1 Cincinnati. The top of the 5th here at Busch Stadium, and the Cardinals trail by the score of 2-1. We turn to tonight's Pennzoil protection plays of the game. We'll start in the 1st inning. Here's Vigna to Renteria. That double play into the 1st, and then he did it again in the 2nd inning. Good double play started by Fernando Vigna. 2 double plays he started tonight, and those are our Pennzoil protection plays of the game.
2 of the best right there. Keystone combination. And of course, that second double play started by Vina was off the bat of Reggie Taylor, and that's who Simontacchi is going to face here for the first batter in the 5th inning.
Reggie Taylor, Corky Miller, and Reitzma.
So far, Simontacchi has retired the first batter in all 4 innings. They do have 5 hits, including a 2-run home run to give them a 2-run lead.
Boy, this guy would be tough to double up, but Vina was able to do it, coming on and making the play on the line out is Albert Pujols. 1 pitch and 1 out. Pitch count for Simontacchi is in that mid-70s range. And with 1 out in the 5th, it'll be Corky Miller.
I think it's a decent jump, and you see him come in there. A lot of times this time of evening, the lights really haven't taken effect, and sometimes you will get a line drive that never gets above the light standard. So see him kind of crouching a little bit as he was coming in on that line drive.
2 pitches, and this could be 2 outs. Here's Eli, 2 away. An efficient start to this inning.
Well, now if the pitcher wants to hurt himself, you know, he can swing at the first one. You see 73 pitches, 52 of them are strikes, just accentuating the point that he's pitching ahead in the count.
Now I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Does Bartolo Colon make the National League All-Star team?
Very good, very good. No.
Okay. You gave me a good start, and then no.
I remember William McGee when he was traded from St. Louis to Oakland, won the National League batting championship because he had enough at bats to qualify for the 502 at bats in the National League, and nobody surpassed his batting average when he left, and so he was crowned the batting champion. But I don't think you could, based on his wins in the American League, could award him a spot on the National League team.
Reitzma fouls that into the seats. 2 balls and a strike. Colon has 10 wins for Cleveland. That's just 1 behind Burley of the White Sox and Lowe of Boston. And then he's got a 2.55 ERA, second best. And a base hit for Reitzma with 2 outs. Or does Eli throw him out? He won't be able to. 2-out base hit. Well, coming up, it's the Midwest Sports Report here on Fox Sports Net with Rob King and Pat Paris. Kareem for a day. The Midwest Sports Report spent a long day with the former MU star on draft day. Take a look at that behind the scenes. The king of speed, Kenny Bernstein, is in St. Louis. Al Verbosky, Jim Hayes, and I will be along with the post-game analysis of this one following tonight's Game 1 of the Cardinals and Reds here at Busch.
There's a nasty rumor that the king of speed, Kenny Bernstein,
retirement.
No, no. That he was teaching our buddy Steve Uline from Bud Sports how to drive dirt bikes, and you know that's how Steve injured his collarbone, breaking his collarbone. But the truth is that his son Grant was the teacher, and Grant was much better at it than Dad.
Walker lifts this one into deep left field, but plenty of room for Albert Pujols, and the Reds strand a man. They have left 2 on the night. Simontacchi will lead things off in the top of the order for St. Louis.
Welcome back to Cardinals baseball. I'm standing with Stephen Drew, JD's little brother. He also has a little brother, Tim Drew, that's a pitcher now for Montreal. You're Stephen. You're a shortstop for Florida State. Just finished up your freshman year. How did that go?
You know, it worked out pretty good for me. Unfortunately, in the first of the year, I broke my foot, but after that, I came back strong, and I had a good year, and hopefully next year will be the same way, and we'll see how it goes from there.
Talking to some of the family members around here, they're saying that you might be the best Drew of them all.
You know, I don't know. I just try to go out there and just try to do my best and work hard, and you know, after that, you just got to go out there and play the game just like it's supposed to be played. So, I mean, and then unfortunately after that, like JD up here, I'm working with Jose, so it helps out a lot when you have an older brother to look up to.
All right, Stephen Drew, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's go back upstairs to you.
Thank you very much. Simontacchi will lead it off here in the 5th, and obviously Stephen picked up his interviewing skills from JD. Well versed there.
Well, I like his nickname, Dirt. And maybe that's an indication of the way he plays. You know, he was on the all-state high school team. He's gone to, I know he was on some post-tournament all-star teams at Florida State. And done a very fine job. And I know Walt Jockey about 2 years ago told me that he could be the best of the three Drew brothers. JD and his brother Tim were one of the first ever brother combinations to be #1 draft picks.
Tim is the player to be named later in the Cologne deal, so he's on his way to Montreal. Got a baseball card show to tell you about. Rittner High School tomorrow, and if you want to have a chance to meet some of the great Cardinals, this is a perfect time to do it. 9 a.m. to 4 tomorrow at Rittner High School. The auction sports memorabilia will be on hand. JD Drew from 10:30 to 11. So if you want to mark this down and make a stop by, here's who's going to be out there and the times that they will be there. It's off of St. Charles Rock Road as Vigna will try to bunt his way on and fouls it. From 9:15 to 10:15, Steve Kline will be out there. From 10 to 11, Bud Smith and Jason Simontacchi, tonight's starter. 10:30 to 11, JD Drew will be there, and from 11 to noon, Placido Polanco along with Woody Williams. So all to benefit Rittner High School, a chance to get some autographs and some great memorabilia, and we hope you stop on by.
And Don Thompson, the guard on the clubhouse door, a former Rittner High School teacher and coach, is the one that's orchestrated that for many, many years. And I know that Rittner High School has benefited greatly. Of course, when I was pitching, Don was the guard on the field down in the bullpen area. He's graduated to Doggy's chair now. Old Doggy Lynch, who the clubhouse is named after.
Ball and 2 strikes with Mitchell Page looking on, and we're talking about last time that Vigna getting a lot of fly balls, and after his first at bat in which he flied to center field, was sitting down with Mitchell Page and talking about putting that ball on the ground and getting a line drive, and right on cue he drove it up the middle.
Well, I think reading between the lines, as Vigna is caught on an inside pitch he doesn't like the call. I think reading between the lines, our guys in the truck were wondering why all these attempted bunts. You know, what's the scouting report say on Branyan or maybe even Rietsma as a fielder? See, is this pitch inside or does he go around? I think he went around and swung either way.
2 strikeouts in the inning. The first was Simontacchi, this one of Vigna, and now it's up to Polanco with 2 outs and nobody on. Placido tonight is grounded out to short and tried to sacrifice back in the 3rd inning, but popped out on a diving play by the catcher Corky Miller. Cardinals have left 4 on the base paths tonight. Good changeup. 0-2. Rietsma, his last time out, took a loss against Texas, but in that loss he set down the final 11 he saw.
You know, the approach that Mitchell Page has worked with these guys on, and it's been very effective. Got away from thinking long ball, and we've got in terms of thinking take the ball up the middle or opposite field. That should work to the advantage of you hitting against a guy with a good or dominant off-speed pitch. There's a curveball.
Breaking ball lifted into left field and a base hit for Polanco. What's on Tap is brought to you by Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with the crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. Tomorrow and Sunday against the Reds, we'll be on WB11. Rich Gould will be with us. 7 o'clock tomorrow and then 1 o'clock on Sunday. Hope you can join us. What's on Tap is brought to you by Budweiser. And we need to remind folks that next week we will not be televising locally until Friday night. Padres come to town and none of those games will be shown locally.
Oh my goodness, how could that happen?
So you need to come on down.
Come on down. And as we said earlier, a lot of great seats available. And Jim Edmonds got the double the first time off the center field wall. The second time he rolled over on an off-speed pitch. Basically hit into a fielder's choice. He did come around to score on Pujols' double, but I would think he'll get a pretty good read on something off speed and take it up the middle or opposite field.
2-0 on Edmonds. Mentioned this off-speed pitch that he has, a changeup, very good. We saw Jamie Moyer a couple of weeks ago, left-hander for Seattle, with a great changeup.
And it's usually the left-handed, soft-tossing left-handers that give the Cardinals fits, and that's been a common theme for many years, if not decades.
Tailing fastball misses in, 3-0.
Here 3-0, and keeps on threatening to get hurt by trying to pitch a left-hander on the inside part of the plate, especially now when he has to throw a strike. But I think Jim will have the green light. You rely on the experience, say, get a pitch out of the way and try and drive it that way, or you just take it.
Edmonds draws a 2-out walk, and that'll bring in Albert Pujols with first and second. He has a lone RBI for St. Louis tonight.
Don Gullett, their outstanding pitching coach for the Reds, will come out and talk to Rietsma. Don has had a wonderful winning percentage, and his career ended too soon with injury.
If you would like to win Cardinals tickets and participate in the Southwest Airlines Family of the Game promotion during a Cardinals home game, here's your chance. Send your name, address, and phone number to Southwest Airlines Family of the Game, P.O. Box 771192. St. Louis, Missouri 63177. Good luck from Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the St. Louis Cardinals. What a night here in St. Louis at Busch Stadium. Temperatures have been low to mid 90s, but the humidity not quite as bad as we have seen it before, Al.
No, not at all. And I kind of think all the Cardinal players look up to the heavens there, and I know a couple friends way up there, but I do like that little touch of that DK-57 flag flying on top of the stadium too,
along with JFB there as well. Albert up the middle, base hit. Polanco being waved home. He's gonna score, and it's a 2-2 game.
Albert Pujols, both RBIs today. He gets a fastball, but it's still that approach of taking the ball up the middle pays off once again. And Tino, who now will come up behind, has hit a couple balls hard. But there you see fastball and a good controlled swing right up the middle. Had him played around the opposite field. Polanco races home to tie this game 2-2. 2-6-0, 2-6-0 as a line score for each club.
52 RBIs now for Albert Pujols. Here's Tino Martinez, 0 for 2 on the night, a pair of flyouts to right. First and second. Tino looks at a strike on the outside corner.
First one he kind of popped up. The second one he lined hard to right field. He's hit in all 9 previous games against the Reds. And see how far they're playing back. 3 men on the right side of the infield. So you get a big lead at first.
He goes the opposite way. Well hit. Done back, and he has it on the track. Tino strands a pair. He has left 4 on the night, and he's 0 for 3. Albert Pujols has reached base 3 times and a pair of RBIs. He's tied it up. It's 2-2. This portion of Cardinal baseball from Busch Stadium on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order it. By your local St. Louis area Kia dealers. It's about time everyone had a well-made car. And by Dobbs Tire and Auto Center, St. Louis's #1 choice for tires and automotive service. Every night we will show you Jim Jackson here on Fox Sports Net. We've done so again this evening.
And he looks at TV and then shies away.
Aaron Boone to lead things off. 1 for 2 on the night. Boone playing shortstop for his father this evening. I'd imagine it's got to be tough for both the manager and the player. Father-son combination at this level to deal with each other day in and day out, but they have had such a long lineage inside the game of baseball that maybe it's not as big a deal to them as maybe it would be to somebody else.
Well, you know, it's 3-generation Boone family, but Bob really will tell you that he was never around when Aaron was growing up. He was always playing or managing or coaching, and really was not involved in the day-to-day life of Aaron Boone, and so he's having the time of his life, really getting to know his son.
1-2. It's fouled back. It'll be Aaron Boone, Sean Casey, and then Adam Dunn, 2, 3, and 4 in their order.
And it works if they have respect for each other and don't look like you're getting preferential treatment or something of that nature, because otherwise Mom will get in the middle of it.
Yep. Strikeout for Simontacchi. That is number 2 on the night. A part of Bob Boone's staff is Ray Knight. He was part of the pregame show this evening, and Ray Knight has seen an awful lot of baseball, Al.
Yes, he has. And of course, Mike Shannon, our good buddy who helps us with the pregame show, had a chance to sit down with Ray Knight and get some of his thoughts.
Yep. Here's Sean Casey. He'll step in. With 1 out, nobody on here in the 6th in a 2-2 game. Simontacchi has kept the pitch count low because of a quick 5th inning. Very efficient. First 2 pitches were outs, and then he got a base hit by the pitcher and got Walker to fly out. Deep left field. Pujols back against the wall. He has it. We mentioned the name of Ray Knight. He has seen an awful lot of baseball. How about some of the best players he's ever seen?
Well, I think Johnny Bench was the best player at his position. I mean, he could dominate a game back there, great defensively, and really it was a tough out in crucial situations in those 4 or 5 years that he wasn't hurt. The best competitor and team player in my mind was Pete Rose.
Can't argue with that. Charlie Hustle is the best competitor and the best player. Johnny Bench, and that was an era in which you played in, Al, and can't argue with that, can you? Those 2 selections.
Now they're very good, and of course you put Perez and Concepcion and Griffey Sr. and
boy, that's well hit into left field. Pujols back, and that's off the wall. Did not get out. Adam Dunn will trot into second. So that thing hit the wall in about 2 seconds, and Pujols was back. It kind of deadened off that padding. And with 2 outs, Dunn will be at second. So Simontacchi, in many ways, gets a break there.
Yes, he does. Just never elevated that ball. He got it off the end of the bat. Albert goes back, and it's to his right. Off the wall. See him not really running hard, but he was watching to see where the base runner was, and would have ran harder if he thought he was going to try for 3. And with his good throwing arm, he probably would have worked to the Cardinals' advantage.
You mentioned the name of Tony Perez, the Hall of Famer, and in many ways one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Latin-born player. Orlando Cepeda is another one. Well, I know you're stretching a little bit, but
no, he's an outstanding one. But I think most people are going to think of Clemente.
No doubt.
But he was a great RBI machine. That's what you put this situation with Tony Perez, and it was probably 90% that he would drive that runner in from second base.
Luis Castillo, the hit streak was going on with Florida. And of course, Tony is in the Marlins organization still. He was manager last year, and Castillo was saying that the most help he got from anybody was from Tony Perez. Became very vocal. He's been behind the scenes for the better part of this season, but was very vocal about helping him out, trying to give him an understanding of Joe DiMaggio, the history of the game, the media that was starting to approach him, and he said, hey, you may never have this again. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Absolutely. Enjoy it. And I think he did end up with the longest hit string ever by a Latin player.
Right. Back in the 4th inning, Encarnacion, prior to this walk, drilled it to center field for a 2-run home run. At that point, gave the Reds a 2-1 lead. Cardinals have tied it up, and it's 2-2. And Dave Duncan has made his way to the mound to talk it over with Simontacchi.
Yeah, but I thought Jason did a good job of saying, I'm not going to let Concepcion beat me. He's already 2 for 2. He's got the 2-run home run, and I have 2 outs, first base open. He's going to have to go after a pitch that is not grooved, and I'll take my chances with Russell Brandon, even though he's a left-handed swinger.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Al, but Perez has the most RBIs for a Latin-born player. I think Cepeda has the most home runs. That might sound right.
I think so.
Yep.
Or did I say Perez is who I was talking about when I talked about RBI machine?
Right. Brandon is 1 for 2 on the night.
And of course, Sammy Sosa may have passed a few people.
And if he hasn't, he will.
Yeah. But, you know, it's almost a situation now where the game is played so differently that a lot of these records, you know, they just don't mean the same.
Probably go back to around maybe 95, 96, 97 when guys started hitting consistently 40 to 50 home runs every year.
Well, I think Reggie Jackson talked about how from 500 to 586 it took, you know, the greats of Mays and Aaron. I think Frank Robinson and himself, whatever his was, maybe it was 75 or 73, whatever it was, said it took them on average 495 at bats to go from 500 to say 5 3/4. And it took, you know, Bonds and Mike McGuire like 195 at bats. Still got to hit them, but I think there was a reference point in there of what Reggie's ultimate statement was saying. There was an asterisk.
Yes. He makes a good point. It's valid.
Well, and that's why, you know, that suspicion is out there, and they need to erase it.
2-2 the count on Brandon with 2 outs and 2 on, and a 2-2 game here in the 6th. Brandon singled in the 2nd inning, struck out in the 4th. Simontacchi with 2 strikeouts on the night. Full count.
This is where Simontacchi can throw that off-speed pitch on a 3-2 pitch, 2 outs. That's when you win some ball games.
Pulled foul.
Come on, Jose. You know what? That's Jose Cardinal. Jose Cardinal, for the package, little package he is, he had a lot of pop and power in his bat, and he could run and he could throw. There were times people said, you know, he only played when he wanted to, but when he wanted to, he could be one of the best players in the game.
We'll do it again on 3-2. Runners go. And the pitch is a ball. Bob Nightingale has written a terrific article on Jason Simontacchi in Baseball Weekly. He's standing by with Jim Hayes. Jim.
And Bob, I guess that cover story you did with a story like Simontacchi kind of writes itself.
Yeah, I mean, what a terrific story. This guy being released 3 times, never been to spring training camp before. And here he is, a big part of the Cardinals. They need this guy.
Right now he's having a little bit of trouble, but as well as he's pitched, as he got thrown into the fire for the Cardinals, who had some injuries, could you imagine that a guy like this gets overlooked?
I mean, the Cardinals never even heard of this guy, you know, when he got brought into a spring training game. And he was running like number 97, didn't have a name on, and starts pitching great in spring training, and he's been fabulous for him.
The kid, when you talk to him, I shouldn't say kid, he's 28 years old, has so much poise. I think that's the thing that strikes you. Yeah, Bobby Cox was saying he looks like he's been pitching for 20 years. He can hit, he can field, he can do everything you want. All right, Bob Nightingale, thanks for the time. My pleasure. Dan, back to you.
Here's Reggie Taylor, bases loaded. Thank you very much, Jim and Bob. 2 outs, bases loaded, a 2-2 game here in the 6th. Taylor is 2 for 4 with the bases loaded, including a grand slam against St. Louis.
That's right. That was in the 1st inning of a game at Synergy Field. The memorable game that Cardinals fell behind 8-0 and came back and won 10-8.
That's right.
But let's retire him right now. remember Simontacchi, I believe was, you know, they just asked for an extra pitcher from the minor leagues and got a chance to pitch at Dodgertown.
And he came in, bases loaded, facing Brian Jordan. And he struck out Jordan, then he struck out the next man, and Tony La Russa had no idea who Jason Simontacchi was, but he was pleased with that effort.
Yep. And there's the pitch. Crowd wanted it, but it appeared maybe a little bit inside.
One before that was even better. 2 balls and a strike now for Taylor. Fouled away. Count is even.
And I think a lot of people, when they first heard the name Simontacchi or even saw it spelled, they thought he was of Japanese descent instead of Italian. And then there was a time where when we were looking for pitchers down there, they felt he was the one most deserving, but he wasn't on the roster.
Right.
So they had to go through some of the roster prospects.
It's popped up. Matheny giving chase. Has a play. Makes it. Taylor strands the bases loaded. Renteria, Marrero, and Mike Matheny coming up for St. Louis to keep it a 2-2 game. As we move to the bottom of the 6th, he got Taylor to pop out with the bases loaded. Let's see if that momentum can carry over in this bottom half of the 6th inning. 2-2 game.
If you think about it, the pitching, other than in extra innings last night and then Sunday night, pitching has been good enough to win every one of the games.
Yep.
I mean, last night's game should have been closed out. Wasn't, but got to get a little more offense than 2 runs per game. But Dave Duncan should be very proud of it, the way his pitching staff has pitched, particularly here at home.
And let's face it, with the tragedy to Darryl Kile, more pressure now goes on the shoulders of Simontacchi and Bud Smith.
Right. Whenever Matt Morris or Woody Williams pitch, you really, it's not fair to them, but you got to chalk up the victories those times, because they're your guns, they're your big horses. You had 3 of them, now you've got 2. So Woody looks like he's back in a groove. He pitched a well ball game. So did Matt, you know, on Tuesday night. Bud Smith needs to step it up. That's why it was a shame that it couldn't have been a positive and first win for the season for him. Travis Smith. But you know, Travis Smith and Bud Smith are really not much more than 5-inning pitchers. And that's why, if there's Travis, who will make the start tomorrow, that's why even Simontacchi stepped it up to where he's averaging 6 innings. He's done that here tonight. But Tony said we can get it done because of the depth of our bullpen, but it makes it that much tougher.
I think you're right, though. By last night's game, you hate to see a blown save. Most importantly, you hate to lose the game, but you want to get that first win for Bud Smith. Get #1 under his belt and let him go for there. Talking with Tony La Russa, he thinks that Bud is just a shade off, but not far away from where he was at the end of last season. Renteria lines that foul. We saw a pretty good start, although the results weren't there, against Seattle and again last night. Advanced Auto Parts NL Central standings. Cardinals up on Cincinnati by a game. Pirates 7.5 out. Astros are 8. Cubs are 10. And as Al told you earlier, they were up 8-0 against Chicago, the White Sox, and lost that game. That's pounded towards short. Aaron Boone, 1 away. Handled every chance tonight at short.
Well, Tony has got a lot of task ahead of him, and he's got a lot of confidence in Simontacchi, and as I said, he believes that his bullpen is good enough. They also will have the opportunity to see Jimmy Jornell, their probably brightest and most promising pitching prospect, have 2 more starts through the All-Star break, and then evaluate where he is in comparison to Travis Smith. And you know, maybe at that time you have to make that decision about trying to make a trade and acquire another starter.
And by that time, I think we're going to have a better feel, at least, of what's going to happen with the labor situation as well, because after the All-Star break, Players Union will get together, 2 days prior to the union, along with the major league owners, meeting and trying to grind out an agreement. Well, I beat 9 to 10 times before maybe we see, and I hate to say it, a possible strike in Major League Baseball.
Well, I think even for the fans' sake, if there is a strike date set, that still does not mean it will happen.
Right.
Players believe that that's a way to force the intensity of the negotiations, get a little, more of a streamline to that date. But I think both sides realize that's suicide.
Good changeup, 2-2. This guy's got a nice changeup, doesn't he?
Well, he's so big. That's part of the effect. And he's very fluid. He has the same arm motion as he does on his fastball. So 6'5", 215, but it's same motion.
2-2 is pulled foul. What a play by Jose Kendo. Still with those great hands, Al.
On balls that are, he's gotten smarter. Balls that are not hit particularly hard, he'll show you those great hands.
What about the charity ops? He's very good on those as well.
Oh yeah, he can do it all, but somebody hits a line drive over there, he'll let the ball girl take it.
Eli, deep left field, but hooking foul. Pretty good at bat here. A good battle between these two, Rietsma and Marrero.
Eli, ball jumps off his bat, but it's been out in front on a lot of pitches lately, hit a lot of home runs, foul. I think Mitchell Page would rather see him take that ball up the middle, opposite field, and then if the ball's on the inner half, by having that approach, then you can keep that ball fair and hit it for a long way.
They set up outside. He hits his spot with a changeup and a strikeout of Eli Marrero. With a pair of groundouts and a strikeout, he's 0 for 3. June 29th, the Cardinals play the Reds. It'll be tomorrow night, Fujifilm photo night here at the ballpark. All fans with cameras will be allowed to go down onto the field from 5 until 6. So if you have tickets to the game, or if you want to come to the game, tickets are still available. Be here at 5, and you can take pictures with your favorite players. An exciting night. It's always a fun night. Fujifilm photo day here at the ballpark. And again, that'll be tomorrow night, and good seats still available. Here's Matheny, looks at a ball inside. 1 for 2 on the night with a base hit up the middle. He also grounded out to second. There's Chris Lee, a photographer from the Post-Dispatch, down in that camera well, night in and night out. He'll be part of Fujifilm photo day. 2-1.
He's a good guy.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So, who's trying to get blackmail pictures on you, Dan?
Mr. Lee.
You got an article coming out?
I have no idea.
Oh, sure.
No, I don't. Honestly.
Sure, Danny. Okay.
3 balls and a strike on Matheny.
I just know the cameraman that's following me, but I don't know why.
He likes me. What can I say?
Everybody likes you, Danny.
Thank you. Matheny jumps on this one into left center field. Taylor back at the wall, and he makes the play. He was really playing shallow and towards the opposite field, had a long way to go, and he tracks it down right by the Budweiser sign. 2-2 after 6. Copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. There he is, Tim Garcia, heading up our crew of Bud Sports tonight. Cardinal Baseball, production of Bud Sports, and an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net.
After you get married, that'll be probably the, second most eligible bachelor in town.
Boy, aren't you?
Well, I just found out that Chris Lee was taking pictures for, the the engagement announcement. See, he's reading it right now.
Dear Al, please shut up.
Where's Doug Stanton when we need his commentator? Commentator, not commentators.
His lovely graphic that he loves to put up. There it is.
That's when we both get told.
Yes. Mickey, Diane, and Daphne say hi to Kitty. Home in Columbia, Missouri tonight, recovering from the knee surgery that keeps her home instead of here with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Doug.
One of our favorites. We mentioned his name before. We were talking about Fernando Vina and fielding all those ground balls prior to the games is George Kissel. He's the man that hits them all. We're going to hear from him during this half inning as Corky Miller will lead it off. $38,564 here tonight at Busch Stadium. Corky tonight is 0 for 2. Back to Simontacchi, fields it. He's 0 for 3. Let's check in with Jim Hayes and one of our favorites, George Kissel. Jim.
And you guys wanted him, you got him. George Kissel is with me. George, what kind of feeling of gratification was it when you see all those ground balls paid off and you see Fernando getting the Gold Glove?
Well, when I started last spring hitting him ground balls, I had no idea anything would happen. But halfway through the season, I hit him certain ways every night for 162 games. They got so the last month, he had fewer errors than Jack Kent of the Dodgers. So we continued to work the same way. And he says, if I win something, you're going to have part of it. I said, what do you mean? He says, well, you'll find out later. And last night, my daughter called me. She says, there's a box here from Vina. I said, open it up. She opened it up. She says, it's a beautiful golden glove. You mean to tell me he gave you a duplicate of glove like that? I says, must be. I was shocked and touched.
What did you say to him today?
Oh, when he came in today, I said to him, Fernando, you don't know how close you touched me with my heart over something like that. He says, well, you spent 162 days hitting the balls the same way every day, and it seemed to help me. So that's the littlest I could do for you.
All right, George Kissel, thanks. Enjoy that glove. Dan.
I wonder if Jim scared George, because George started out with that interview with his face in his hands and a little nervous, but he loosened up quite nicely over there. So good job by Jim and George, one of our favorites in the Cardinals organization. And there's 2 away for Simontacchi here in the 7th in a 2-2 game.
Well, you know, the next thing, as we see the strikeout pitch, third strikeout, gets his counterpart looking. Next thing that George said is, get your glove, let's go field some ground balls.
Yep. I asked him, I said, well, how are you getting to the games? He said, I have a new chauffeur. I said, really? Who's that? My wife.
Oh, Jenny.
Yeah.
Jenny's up here, huh? Boy, that's pretty good. She left her fishing pole. She used to be fishing all the time when George would be on these trips.
She's more upset that George isn't traveling, I think, than George is.
Oh, no, they have a great great marriage and great family, and boy, look how patient she has been to allow him to be with the Cardinals for 61, 62 years, and I think he has said this is the final year. We've heard that before, though.
Could have helped out that ball girl who just made a pitiful attempt on a ground ball that was foul, and I mean pitiful, Al.
George will have her working tomorrow.
Simontacchi is due up first for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 7th, so you might figure this could be his last inning of work.
Well, it all depends. You know, looks like he's going to get through 7 innings. It'll be the 4th time out of 9 starts that he's pitched through 7, averaging 6 innings per start. He added to that tonight.
One and 2. Jason tonight has 3 strikeouts. Todd Walker, their leadoff man, is 0 for 3 in the hole here with a ball and 2 strikes. Hit towards second. There's the Gold Glover, Fernando Vina. And we'll move to the bottom of the 7th. It's a 2-2 game here at Busch. And now for a look at today's national news headlines. Let's go to the Fox Network Center. He's merchandise prize winner in the Hyundai long drive inning sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run here in the 7th, Katie Hockey will qualify for the grand prize drawing for a Hyundai Santa Fe at the end of the baseball season. To register, visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer to complete an entry form. Jason Simontacchi is done for the night. He goes 7 innings, allows 2 runs. There's his line. Both were earned on the home run by Encarnacion. Pair of walks and 3 strikeouts on the night. The walks, both of them in the 6th inning. Wouldn't it be nice for a lead at the end of 7 and a chance for a win? Here's our Auto Tire pinch hitter tonight. It's Kerry Robinson. So Robinson will be our Auto Tire pinch hitter in a 2-2 game here in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, let's reward him with put him in line for this victory, as we must score this inning.
Kerry is 3 for 23 as a pinch hitter. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Robinson in the top of the order for the Cardinals. Vina and then Polanco. Cardinals have left 6 on the night. And they have 6 hits. Tailing fastball high and tight to Kerry. 2 balls and a strike. Rietsma has been very good, the starter for Cincinnati. 3 strikeouts tonight. Change up, pounded towards first, and there's Sean Casey lumbering towards the bag for the first out here in the bottom of the 7th.
Rietsman's still going strong, but this is like his typical outing where his teammates haven't given him a lot of run support. That's why he has lost his last 5 decisions.
Now you would figure that Steve Klein would be the likely candidate out of the bullpen, with Sean Casey due up 2nd, Adam Dunn due up 3rd. Both hit from the left side. There's number 49 warming up for St. Louis. There's a shot, fair ball down the right field line. Vina digging for 2. And a 1-out double for Fernando.
Well, Fernando doing his part. He's 2 for 4 on the night. And jumps on this pitch. It's a line drive down in the right field corner. Encarnacion gets to it and holds him to a double. It has extra bases written all over it. This question, is it going to be 2 or is it going to be 3? You see him look over there, and they wisely hold him up. Put him in scoring position.
Polanco is 1 for 3 on the night. He has a run scored as well. Base hit came last time up. Breaking ball and a strike.
Fernando Vina, see him stepping there on the bag, the inside part of the bag, and now he'll pick up Oquendo. And you know, if you really think about it, one of those in-between decisions, let the coach, let him decide whether you should go or not. Don't you do it on your own.
There's a shot, left field, 1 hopper off the wall. The Cardinals have the lead. Polanco will change positions with Vina, and it's 3-2 Redbirds.
20th RBI for Polanco as Vina scores. Trading places, back-to-back doubles give Simontacchi the opportunity for the victory. So a lefty hits one down the right field line. The right-handed swinger hits one into the left field corner. And now they'll go to Almanzar. Cardinals 30-1 when leading after 7 innings.
It started with a pinch hitter Robinson grounding out to Sean Casey. Then with 1 out, Vina the double down the right field line, and then Polanco the 1 hopper off the wall, then left. Back-to-back doubles. Rietsma is done. Bob Boone will make the change.
Bruce Chen.
And Bruce Chen will come in, the lefty recently acquired for Cincinnati. And the Cardinals have grabbed a 1-run lead. The Midwest Sports Report is coming up after the final out here at Busch. Kareem for a day. The Midwest Sports Report was able to spend a long day with the former MU star on draft day in the NBA. The king of speed, drag racing's Kenny Bernstein is in St. Louis for a stop on his NHRA farewell tour and a complete post-game wrap-up with Al, Jim Hayes, and I'll be along. Post-game analysis coming up. Well-traveled Bruce Chen is into this game for Cincinnati.
Well, I can remember in spring training when he was with Montreal how they were excited to have him, and I guess they gave up on him, traded him over here. Made 5 starts with Montreal, 1 with Cincinnati. That's been very good in relief.
Here's Edmonds. Ball gets away. Moving up is Polanco. How big is that with just 1 out?
Well, it will help Jim Edmonds, and of course Bob Boone. Last thing you expect is to come in here and throw a wild pitch way off the mark, and so Polanco gets 90 feet closer to home plate in many more ways to score from third than second.
Crowd coming alive here at Busch Stadium.
Yeah, the crowd, you can't say enough of them through these trying times, and they have been right there as part of the Cardinal family with players in front office.
Infield now drawn in, 1 ball and 1 strike. Called strike on Jim. Edmonds tonight doubled. His first time up to dead center field. He is also walked and hit into a fielder's choice, but has a run scored. There's a shot that pulls it foul. Boy, did he crush that.
And way out in front. Of course, you know that wrist feels good when you make this solid contact. You don't see no wince. You don't see any grimacing. It's when you swing and miss is when it has a tendency to hurt. But he was out in front on a fastball.
Now he's in the hole. Just gets a piece. All he's trying to do there is make sure he gets a piece, and he does, to keep it 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mitchell Page has been quoted as saying, if this is the 9th inning, 7th game of the World Series, this is the man he wants at the plate, Jim Edmonds.
You're not always going to come through, but you're usually going to have a professional at bat and give yourself a chance. See if it's going to be a breaking ball.
Edmonds hangs in there again.
Jim is one of these hitters that, you know, is not afraid to look away and still be able to be quick enough and protect the inside part of the plate.
That's hard to do.
Well, good hitters, you know, I mean, it's something that you cannot, you know, he's not afraid of being jammed.
Fouls it off of Miller. He seems to be all right.
Bruce Chen, who started out with the Atlanta Braves, went to Philadelphia, and Montreal,
Mets.
That's where he was this spring, right? With the Mets, yeah. Charlie Huff was telling me about it.
New York, Montreal, and
then
now Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Infield in, the 1-2 pitch. Fouls it into the seats yet again.
Polanco out there at third base. He's going to get those secondary leads. Ball gets by Corky Miller. Infield playing in, hard hitter, and we'll see what they want to throw here. So on a 1 ball, 2 strike count, fastball, and they're going to try and go up. That works into Jimmy's wheelhouse if it's still a strike. You know, Jimmy will tell you there's never a ball up that he doesn't like, but that one was so far up that didn't even tempt him. So 2-2 now, 1 out. Change up away, didn't want it. It's going to throw a fastball away.
The 2-2. Got him. Chen wins that battle.
Now that's that pitch that's up, and it's just, see where the Corky Miller is, and that's the pitch that Jim can't lay off of. That ball up there is a pitcher's pitch, and you only get a guy like Jim to swing at it. But here's the guy that I was going to say there's no way they're going to pitch to him.
Yeah, Pujols tonight, a pair of RBIs with a double, a single, and a walk. He's been on base, and after this intentional pass, it'll be 4 times tonight. They would rather deal with Tino Martinez, who has flied out 3 times. He's on deck. Tino has flied to right twice. He's also flied out to left, and tonight alone he has left 4 on. So he'll come up again with 2 men on and 2 outs here in the 7th. So Albert aboard for the 4th time this evening.
It's the book of Tino Martinez that is in the dugout of the Reds. Ray Knight in charge of that defensive alignment, so it looked like he was kind of sprayed the ball in the outfield. You see a lot of balls to left, left center, equal to right. Really none to straightaway center, so they play him straight away in left and right, and a little bit to pull in center.
Casey will hold it first. Shift is on, and the first pitch is way outside. Tino Martinez, the hits by direction.
Boy, look at that. Completely opposite of what the Reds book show. And that's, you know, because that's just one team. But you'd think they would pitch him more in, and of course they start him with an off-speed pitch away.
And again go away, and it's 2-0. Renteria is on deck. Cardinals have taken the lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Back-to-back doubles by Bina and Polanco.
Boone is a very intelligent catcher in his day.
3-0.
Bob Boone, I think, I'm not mistaken, went to Stanford.
I think that's right.
And he even went to class.
Four straight to Tino, and he walks the bases loaded. The intentional pass to Pujols. 4 straight to Tino Martinez, and now there'll be another pitching change. Almanzar has been throwing in that bullpen. And with Renteria coming up, bases loaded, 2 outs, he's going to make a change. 2 outs, runners in scoring position. Edgar, 13 RBIs. Be nice to see him add to that. Cardinals have taken the lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Let's see if there's more to come. It's the 4th of July. Come on down to the ballpark. Cardinals play the Dodgers. It's Budweiser Visor Night here at Busch. The first 25,000 fans, 21 and over, with a paid admission will receive a Cardinals visor with a patriotic theme. Compliments of Budweiser, the official beer of the St. Louis Cardinals, and plenty of seats available for that series against the LA Dodgers. Come on down to Busch. What a situation here with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and Renteria coming up. Mentioned that Almanzar was throwing in the bullpen. He was loose, and so is Scott Williamson, and he'll be the 3rd pitcher used by Bob Boone tonight. He has had a couple of rough outings the last time out. Suffered losses in each of his last 2 appearances. Once against Oakland in interleague play, the other against Chicago at Wrigley Field. He blew a save in one of those 2 appearances. And against Williamson, Edgar is 1 for 6. Bases loaded, Polanco, Pujols, and Tino Martinez on base for St. Louis.
I remember Scott Williamson was the 1999 National League Rookie of the Year, and he had the Tommy John surgery, so coming back from that, and he can be a handful. There's Edgar's numbers, 207, no grand slams. But this is a guy that's been magic with 2 outs.
Trying to add to this 1-run lead. First pitch to the Cardinals shortstop. Swing and a miss on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball from Williamson. He can throw hard. When he was at his best, that you mentioned, Al, that 99 Rookie of the Year season, he was throwing 95, 96 consistently. He'd top out at 98, 99 sometimes.
Edgar's been so good at going to the opposite field this year, and they're going to probably pitch him away now that they're ahead in the count.
0-2.
Boy, a little delayed call, but I think it was right down the middle. Crowd didn't like it, but been inconsistent. See, they're set up away, and that ball right to the middle of the plate. Oh, Williamson comes in throwing strikes and makes it that much more difficult for Edgar.
Edgar tonight is 0 for 3. Time is called.
Now, Edgar has the second highest batting average of National League shortstops. He's second most in RBIs. He has 33, trailing the Brewers' Jose Hernandez, who killed the Cardinals. It's 39. And
Corky Miller along with Williamson. Want to make sure, Al, they're on the same page here on this 0-2 pitch.
Yeah. How about last night? Edgar punished a pitcher for his 19th double last night, matching his 2001 total, season total. Infield bunching, and the outfield playing around to right. They'll keep it away late in the ball game. You don't want to make mistakes on the inside part of the plate because they're home runs.
Stays no balls and 2 strikes.
And they have pitching ahead in the count is where you can go away, and then if you see somebody really diving over the plate, then you can bury one inside, out of the strike zone to keep a guy honest and then get him out back away.
Williamson spent time in their starting rotation last year, now back in the bullpen. Their right fielder is really guarding that line. Here's the 0-2. Well outside.
Try to really overthrow that one. But you can do that when you're having 0-2 count.
He goes to right center. That's going to clear the bases. Encarnacion is really well over towards that line in right field.
You've got to plug the gap out there, hit it out towards the bullpen, hopefully in the bullpen.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Edgar fouls it back. We've seen some good battles. First Edmonds and Bruce Chen, and now Renteria and Scott Williamson.
That was error in location, and Renteria got that breaking ball, and it was up and in the middle of the plate. He had a good rip at it, just couldn't do much with it. They're going to try and retire him on this pitch. Not away from him.
1-2. Renteria down the right field line, but foul. Ball and 2 strikes on the Cardinals shortstop with the bases loaded.
Danny, with 2 strikes, 2 outs, and with the infielders not even paying any attention to these runners, they can get terrific jumps, and they can be little, especially Pujols out at second base. He can really see if that ball's in the strike zone, and if Renteria starts to pull the trigger, he can just take off.
Edgar off the end of the bat, but into left. Easy play for Adam Dunn, and the Cardinals will strand the bases loaded. They had a man at third and just 1 out, couldn't bring him in, but they do re-grab the lead. Back-to-back doubles. Bean and Polanco have given the Cardinals a 3-2 lead. Sports Show Period's All-Star Summer continues with Tom Arnold's bachelor party joins some of the biggest names in Hollywood as they give Tom a proper send-off into marriage yet again. It's a night of stars and comedy like you've never seen before. The best damn sports show period. 11 o'clock here on Fox Sports Net. Steve Klein is into the game for St. Louis. Jason Simontacchi, a chance to have a victory here tonight if the Cardinals bullpen can keep this a 3-2 St. Louis lead. Klein will see a couple of tough left-handers at the plate. Sean Casey and Adam Dunn in this inning. Leading it off prior to those two is Aaron Boone.
Well, Steve inherited a tough situation last night with the bases loaded, nobody out. Gave up a big base hit to Jose Hernandez. His eventual go-ahead run, and then he got an out. Here much better, and he got the first one retired.
First pitch, broken bat, and and they just get Aaron Boone. Renteria got him. 1 pitch and 1 out. That's how we start the top of the 8th.
And since they replaced the infield grass here, there's been a lot of lumpy areas, and this takes one of those funky little hops. And you see the Renteria had to stay with it. Took him a minute for him to realize he got it, and then a little bit of a low throw, rushes his throw, but Tino's very good at the other end. Stretches out, catches it in the air.
0 for 14, Sean Casey against his former roommate and teammate in the minor league system in Cleveland, and that's Sean Casey. Sean Casey and Steve Kline. A couple characters in this game.
A couple good guys. Of course, Steve Kline wanted me to say hello to a longtime Cardinal fan, Herman Schrader, 86 years of age, from Union, Missouri. Oh, Steve and Herman are good friends.
Oh, and 2. Let's make it 0 for 15 right here.
Similarities between all 3 of these guys in the Cleveland organization. Dave Duncan and Steve Kline and Casey.
Mike Matthews is also a roommate of Sean Casey for a while.
Yeah. Matthews was kind of the big bonus baby of that group. 0-2 pitch. Shake off and then go with the bread and butter to slider, but Steve says no, go with fastball. He'll spot it down and away.
The strikeout of Casey, late call, and he gets it on the outside corner, and Sean doesn't like it one bit. And a strikeout for Kline. Casey now 0 for 15 against number 49.
I think Casey had a legitimate gripe. Borderline outside, borderline height, and you know Sean never says a word. This guy, well, you may not be able to tell what he says, but you can read lips. We recommend family programming. Do not.
Something that we're seeing with Steve Kline as of late. Al is way better control with the slider. He spotted the last fastball on the outside half. Probably wanted a little lower, but still, he's starting to spot the ball where he wants it.
Yeah, that was one thing that really concerned him, that he wasn't getting that slider where he wants it. Shakes it off again, wants the fastball away. Yeah, that's the one what you were talking about, and that's a good pitch when you're ahead, because it's, you know, you really are not going to do much with it. So, but it's very tempting, and it sets up the slider.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody on. Dunn lays off that pitch. And it's 2-1. Kline wanted the call, didn't get it.
Played golf with some great people yesterday. Bob and Rob and Carol. Carol definitely was interested in meeting Steve Kline.
There's a shot in the right field. Late break by Eli Marrero. That'll fall in front of him for a 2-out base hit. I don't think he would have made that play anyway.
See, that's not a good location with it. That was happened to him earlier, where the ball up a little bit, flattens out, doesn't have that good tilt to it. So instead of breaking down and away, it's up over the middle of the plate, where a guy with, you know, the extension can reach out there and get it. This is a guy that you want to retire right now. No right-handers warming up.
You're wondering about Isringhausen. Tony La Russa was telling me before the game out that Isringhausen, even though he has pitched the last couple of nights, matter of fact last 3 games, he was throwing in the outfield, felt pretty good, and could be available tonight. Now that was at first watch in watching Jason warm up, so Tony La Russa may go to him in the 9th. There's a shot in the right center field. That ball gets down. Eli will cut it off. He does the job of at least cutting it off. Gets it back in. Ball gets away, but no damage done. It'll be 1st and 3rd with 2 outs. Encarnacion has had a big night. 4th time he's been on base. It brings in Russell Branyan, who hits from the left side.
This guy's just been a terrific player. He had a lot of talent, but appeared to be kind of moody when he was with Detroit, or unhappy. But I think over here, and having the ability to be with a better ball club, a winning ball club, and I think a lot, you know, having the relationship with Jose Cardinal. That's one of his real points for this ball club, has helped the Latin players. And I think it's brought out the best in Encarnacion. This is why they didn't have a right-hander warming up.
Right.
Is because the 2 outs, you got Russell Branyan.
Against Simontacchi, he singled his first time up, struck out, and also walked. First pitch, a slider, misses out.
Ball 1. Danny look in the dugout, see if they want to put on play. That's what that signal was a play for the running game.
First and third, 2 outs, and a 1-run Cardinal lead.
See, with Reggie Taylor on deck, another left-handed swinger, but a guy that they probably would pinch hit for. They'll get a right-hander warming up just in case.
2-0.
Mike Matheny will look over to Tony La Russa, and Tony really is, his participation right now is to stop the running game, control the running. Now they're just going to pitch to him. Fooled him as he shook off the fastball through the slider. Remember, that's another thing that you look for from the bench. Remember the sequences. Every time he had shook off, he was shaking off the slider and throwing the fastball. This time the reverse.
3 balls and a strike.
Dave Veers and Luther Hackman. So that's interesting. Maybe to see how Dave Veers feels after 3 shutout innings last night.
Yeah.
Boy, he pitched well last night.
Yes, he did. And as we all know, with a very heavy heart, very emotional time for him on the mound.
Well, but there's ways you can use that to motivate yourself, and you know, to push it in the positive way.
It's popped up behind home plate,
but out of play.
Yep. Full count. What do you come with here? I would imagine a slider would be coming towards Russell Branyan.
Yeah, that's your best pitch. And one of the things with, you know, a reliever, you're always dealing with somebody criticizing you, saying, well, what'd you get beat with? It's a double-edged sword. You know, you throw 99 straight sliders, you get beat on the 100th one, and they say, oh, wait, you know, you can't throw all sliders. You throw 99 straight sliders, you throw your fastball, you get beat with it, and they say, oh, you got beat with your second best pitch. So you throw your number 1. And that, so his best pitch is a slider. That's what Matheny called for the first time. That's what he does again. Your best against mine.
Crowd on their feet. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Branyan breaks his bat over his knee. Klein gets out of the top of the 8th. Cardinal Baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with lower fares. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. And by Lowe's, Lowe's improving home improvement. 38,564 here tonight. Steve Klein. A game of emotion. He shows his side of it. How about Russell Branyan? His side of it. Branyan strands 2. And Klein keeps it a 1-run St. Louis lead.
I'm sorry, but I like to see that from both sides. It shows me that they both care, and that's what it's all about.
Williamson stays in the game. He'll face Eli Marrero.
Got 2 teams trying to fight for first place, and so why not?
The bench reaction for Steve Klein, they loved it.
And Matt Morris, first one out there to give him the high five. And usually after that, you get some more runs.
Eli pops it up into shallow right field. One out.
Williamson has a good fastball, but he also has a split finger pitch. And when he was at Tulane with one of Bruce Suter's sons, Bruce Suter taught him how to throw the split finger. And that's what helped him win that Rookie of the Year in '99.
Here's Mike Matheny with one out, nobody on in the bottom of the 8th. Miguel Cairo is on the on-deck circle. Warming up in the bullpen, it's Isringhausen. That's good to see.
And Isringhausen be the first one to be thankful his manager put him right back in there to atone for the blown save last night. That's all you can ask.
Matheny has a base hit tonight. He's 1 for 3, hitting .240 on the year. 2 balls and a strike. Scott Williamson was an emerging star a couple of years ago. National League Rookie of the Year. Last year, though, kind of at a crossroads after Tommy John surgery, with finding himself in the starting rotation. He made 10 starts. He also was in the bullpen. Two and two.
And you can see this year that he's completely healed from the Tommy John surgery. His 27th game. All in relief this year. They got a deep bullpen. A lot of depth down there. That's why they've been able to survive with their starters not going deep in many games.
Full count on Mike Matheny. Matheny tonight, a base hit his first time up, grounded out to second and flied out to center.
Called on the 3-2 pitch. What do you think he's going to do? Is he going to challenge him or going to try and trick him?
He's blown 2 fastballs right by him.
Well, here comes number 3 down and away.
Matheny gets a piece and fouls it into the seats. Looking ahead, Reggie Taylor will be the leadoff man for the Cincinnati Reds, but as Al mentioned, probably a pinch hitter. And then you've got the catcher Corky Miller, and the pitcher spot is due up.
I'm not sure if they'll pinch hit now. You know, if you go to Isringhausen, that would be if they extended the inning and came up there to face a left-handed swinger against a left-handed pitcher. His speed could be a real asset for the Reds.
Fouls it back, stays a full count, 3-2 on Mike Matheny.
Mike Matheny got 3 hits the other day, and his hands were real quiet. And it's kind of been up and down where what he does with his hands, and it kind of dictates the success he's going to have as a hitter.
Draws a walk, fought off some good pitches from Williamson, and a 1-out walk to Mike Matheny. Miguel Cairo will be the pinch hitter, our auto tire pinch hitter. Miguel Cairo has been the top auto tire pinch hitter for the Cardinals this year. He has 9 pinch hits. He's 9 for 25 in this spot.
Also a .354 career average here at Busch Stadium.
One out, Matheny at first. And a 3-2 St. Louis lead here in the bottom of the 8th. Fernando Vina's on deck. He's the one that got things going in the 7th inning as the Cardinals took the lead. It was back-to-back doubles. Vina with one out. Then Polanco doubled to bring him in. They switched spots. Pinch hit leaders, as you might expect. Lenny Harris, one of the top pinch hitters really of all time now. 11 pinch hits in the National League for Milwaukee. But Miguel Cairo on that list. One ball, one strike, just missed outside. Will come your way on WB11 tomorrow night. Travis Smith and Elmer Descends. Descends is 4-4. Travis is 1-0. And Memphis, Travis had an ERA under 2. And his last start was a complete game 5 hitter last Friday night. Working on a week's rest. A win tonight means Simontacchi is 6-1 if the Cardinals can keep it. And the Cardinals would then be 2 games in front of the Reds in the NL Central.
Got a nice note is Kindo's flashing signs on a 1-1 count. And Bob Boone is going to the mound right here. Nobody warming up, so they may be talking a little strategy. Now, the one thing that's all this strategy with a runner at first base that happens to be the slow-footed, Mike Matheny.
Gary Robinson has already been used as a pinch hitter.
Yeah, so you're carrying 3 catchers. If Gary had not been used, maybe you'd put him into pinch run, put a little pressure on the defense.
And Drew is out with a sore knee.
Yeah. And a nice note from J.C. Hunt, president of Eastern State College in Oklahoma, Eastern Oklahoma State. Been a Cardinal fan since 1938. For the 12th consecutive year, he's brought his 2 sons here and son-in-law to watch the Cardinals win. Interesting what he's done with the Cardinal magazine.
Cairo fouls it back. 1-2. A few finals are in. Around Major League Baseball, Minnesota beat Milwaukee 5-1. New York in the Subway Series, the Yankees 11-5 over the Mets. Atlanta over Boston 4-2. Tampa Bay beat Florida 4-0. And Montreal beat Toronto 2-1 earlier today. White Sox over the Cubs 13-9. On 1-2. Cairo lifts it into shallow center field. Called for by Taylor. 2 outs. You can only imagine the Minnesota fans waiting for Milwaukee and Bud Selig's team to come to town.
I bet they've had a little fun with that at the expense of Milwaukee. And of course, Minnesota won 5-1. Minnesota sold over what, 100,000 tickets?
Yeah. If the season stopped right now, imagine that. Montreal would have a shot at getting into postseason play. Minnesota would be in for sure. Bud's worst nightmare coming true. Pittsburgh over Detroit 3-1. That's a final. Baltimore beat lost to Philadelphia 6-2. Cleveland over Arizona 8-2. Miller was crossed up, it looked like there.
It did appear that way. He has thrown a couple hanging split finger pitches. You see Corky come flying up and goes off the heel of the glove, and what did he run into the bat? The knob of Vina's bat?
Yeah. Fernando's had a 2-hit night. A base hit, a double, and a run scored. And Matheny a delayed steal.
Look at that save.
Safe at second.
I told you should worry about that running speed of Mike Matheny.
His first stolen base this year. A delayed steal for Mike Matheny. He catches Corky in the middle infield napping.
And
They've caught the umpire as well.
Well, the umpire kind of slips as he tries to turn to get in position. You see what he does. Gets him flat-footed. The ball sails a little bit, but he's there in position to make a nice call as the throw was on the third base side, and Mike is right there. Remember, he also got a third baseman playing shortstop, but Boone gets there in perfect time, and the ball was tailing back to him, so the umpire got out of the way. Maybe we should describe what you do on a delayed steal. You know, you take your normal lead, and then we've always said there's a secondary lead. As the pitch is made, you take like a couple more little steps, or you do the same thing, so you watch it. You take your crow hops, and then you take off. So it's what you do normally, but then instead of stopping after your second one in your secondary lead, you just start running to the next base, and you hope what happens to the catcher. You get him standing flat-footed, getting him thinking about throwing the ball back to the pitcher. Then his peripheral vision, he sees you running, rushes his throw. It usually sails, or someone has failed to covering the bag, and that means a guy with the foot speed of Matheny can surprise the defense and get yourself in scoring position. Great play.
2-2 the count on Vina. Base hit. Could make it a 2-run lead. It's 3-2 St. Louis here in the 8th. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The next 2, Fernando. Lined up the middle, but played perfectly is Reggie Taylor. We will head to the 9th. 1-2 in the National League Central Division, going head-to-head in game 1 of this 3-game set. Izzy looks like he's set to go with a 1-run lead. Baseball on Fox Sports Net was brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. Fans have enjoyed this one at Busch Stadium, over 38,000. Jason Isringhausen suffered just his second blown save last night, his first since late April. He's 16 of 18 in the save category. It's in the top 10 in the National League for the 29-year-old right-hander. Isringhausen trying to hold on for the Cardinals, and Jason Simontacchi. Simontacchi was lifted for a pinch hitter back in the 7th. It was a 2-2 game. And we take you to the play of the game in that 7th inning. It's brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste, it won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. The pinch hitter was Kerry Robinson. He grounded out. Then it was a double by Vina, and then we see this double by Polanco. Tonight's Bud Light play of the game. Placido Polanco has made it a 3-2 St. Louis lead, and that's where we are here in the top of the 9th. Due up for Cincinnati. It'll be Reggie Taylor with that great speed leading things off. He is 0 for 3 on the night. Taylor looks at a strike from Izzy. 95 from the right-hander. Taylor. And then it looks like Wilton Guerrero is on deck. He'll pinch hit for Corky Miller.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then a pinch hitter for the pitcher spot. So Izzy working on back-to-back nights yet again. And Al, you've been a closer in your career. If you blow a save, the next thing you want is that next chance, right?
Absolutely. You can't wait to get back out there. But if you're a closer, you have to have the mindset that your victories are very short-lived, but so are your defeats. And you have to put that game aside before you leave the ballpark so you can be in the right frame of mind to close one out tonight.
Here's the 0-1 to Taylor. And he hit him.
Well, that's one way to take care of the running speed. That has to hurt. 94 mile an hour, looked like on the legs, around the knee, and he can't move.
Oof. It just thumped off his leg. We could hear it from up here. Let's listen to it. Our Fox Sports Net sounds of the game.
That was a little higher than I thought.
That's going to tighten up pretty quickly.
Yeah, thigh, or maybe even slightly around the hip region, but he's walking now, gingerly going down to first base, and Bob Boone is going to make sure he's able to run. That's the tie and run out there. And you know, the one thing about Jason is he's slow to the plate, so You know, a good base stealer should get a very, very good chance to steal a base. So I'm sure that's one thing Bob Boone is saying. Let me know, can you run? You know, flex the legs, see if you can lift it, see if you can, you know, be an asset to me rather than. And there's what he wants to see.
That's the last thing that Isringhausen wanted to do, allow that tying run, the leadoff man, to get to first. Opposing runners 6 of 7 against Izzy when they've been on, trying to swipe that bag.
Well, remember too now with Wilton Guerrero going to pinch hit. Wilton Guerrero is one of the fastest guys. Most of the time when he gets a base hit, it's in the infield, and he's a very good bunter. So you put a lot of pressure on the defense. Where Polanco's playing, remember, Martinez has to hold him on, but the second base and shortstop's got to, one of them's got to be out there for a steal.
And the bunt is down. Polanco calls for it. Only play is to first. Vigna's covering. Taylor moves up to second. He's in scoring position with 1 out. Midwest Sports Report's coming up.
Here's coming up tonight after the game in the Midwest Sports Report. You'll hear from tomorrow's starter, Travis Smith, plus first on NBA picks. Kareem Rush and Frank Williams are in their new cities, and the Rams sign another one of their draft picks. That's all coming up next after the game. Now back to Dan and Al. Guys?
Thank you, Rob. Looking forward to that. Of course, we'll have a post-game analysis. Here from Bush, Austin Kearns will be the pinch hitter. Highly touted draft pick from a couple of years ago. Actually was selected in front of Adam Dunn, first-round selection for Cincinnati. He has had some success in call-ups already this year. Has a lot of power. First pitch to him, right down the middle. Something that we picked up on, Al, and everybody else did as well, is the fact that Kearns, as he stared at a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, is that he'll dive over that plate. And he was hit an awful lot in his first few weeks in the major leagues.
Yeah, that's right. And also you can pound him inside because of that diving. And he was struggled at the end. It's stealing third.
Runner goes. Throw down to third. Got him! Two outs.
Boy, you know, if you're going to steal,
you better make sure you got it.
Well, you better have a good jump. And he didn't have a good jump. And look at there. You see Polanco. He almost committed the ultimate sin. He didn't make that hand might have got in there, but the throw beats him. He's very speedy. The throw beats him there, and the call is given. So Matheny loves it. He helps out. Boy, that's how a catcher can control the game. But you got to get a good jump. You know, the third baseman, Polanco, almost committed the ultimate sin of vacating his spot before the pitch is made.
Crowd on their feet. Strike to Kearns. 1 strike away.
Well, this is the same situation Izzy was in last night. See right there, his hand probably got to the bag, but the throw beats him in such fine fashion that they'll give the out to the Cardinals.
1 strike away. 1-2 on Austin Kearns.
This was last night, same thing. Here comes the curveball. They hit the fastball and the cutter last night. Oh my goodness.
2-2. 2-2, and he didn't miss by much there.
Well, it might have been a bit high, but if anything, that's a hanger. That's what Austin Kearns looking for. He can hit that one out. Will he be able to catch up to the fastball?
2 outs, nobody on. 2 balls, 2 strikes here in the top of the 9th, and a 1-run St. Louis lead.
Now the curveball.
Kearns fouls it towards the Cincinnati dugout. Isringhausen trying to pick up save number 17, trying to save this game for Simontacchi and the Cardinals.
Good ball game. Looks like it's going to be a good series. So here we are going right down to the final pitch, and a battle this weekend for first place.
A win tonight. Fastball. The Cardinals go up 2 games. The 2-2 from Izzy. Cold foul. 95 on that last pitch.
Now, Jason has an overpowering fastball, but at times it is very straight.
2 balls, 2 strikes. What's coming next, Al?
Had a couple curveballs, and threw the fastball that time, back to the curveball. That's what he really wants to throw, and that's a strikeout pitch.
Here it comes. Kearns extends the game. 2-out base hit. He represents the tying run, and the go-ahead run comes to the plate. So the Cardinals again just a strike away, and now the game is extended to Todd Walker.
You know, Izzy, for a guy that throws 95, 96 miles an hour, doesn't have confidence in his fastball. There's the curveball, but it's also a pitch where a guy that dives across the plate is looking for a ball down and away. And thank goodness the botched steal a third, or we would have a tie game. They're looking for a pinch runner for Austin Kearns. Barry Larkin, is that Larkin?
Yeah, it looks like it is. It's Barry Larkin.
Well, that's an indication that his neck and shoulders not too bad.
Legs are fine.
Well, but he's had hamstring problems, and what, 37 years of age. You don't usually, not your typical pinch runner or the guy that's had a lot of injuries.
So he's a pinch runner with 2 outs at first. And the batter is Todd Walker, who's 0 for 4 on the night.
Fastball.
Crowd still on their feet. First pitch fouled away. Cardinals 2 strikes away. Cardinals have won 16 of the last 22 here at Busch, trying to make it 17 of 23.
Because of the pitches that he's thrown in this inning. And what, 3rd day in a row? May not. Here's his cutter.
Strike on the outside corner.
Just really backed up, didn't do anything, but he gets a strike. So it's almost a pitch that it's not as if he telegraphed it. They give the slider call, and I asked about that, and they say it's a cutter. Fastball looks like in, but be careful. 0-2.
And Walker gets a piece. It's been a well-played game, hasn't it?
Oh, this is fun. This is what it's supposed to be when you got 2 clubs playing for first place. And so far, the Reds have not convinced themselves that they can beat the Cardinals. They have lost 6 of the first 9 of this series. Now the fastball inside.
Here it is on 0-2. High and tight to Walker.
Now that's a good pitch there.
95 at his chin.
Well, I mean, you got to be careful because you don't want to throw a strike with it, and you don't want to leave it down and in. You want to throw it, up and in a little bit, get him conscious of it, get him off the plate, and then the cutter.
A ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. He got him. 3-2. The Cardinals win it. 17 saves for Izzy. The win for Simontacchi. We'll be right back with a complete post-game report. Now it's time for the Midwest Sports Report. Let's send it after this Cardinal victory to the studio.